All right, Jon and Jim with you here on this Thursday afternoon. It is the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon as it continues here on San Diego Sports 760. And with your help, we're going to get injured Warriors and ill Warriors home for the holidays. All right, so funds raised by the Give-a-thon will enable thousands of ill and injured service members to leave the hospital and go home for the holidays and Christmas. If you want to donate, we're going to talk with some service members and how they've been impacted by the Warrior Freedom Station. You can donate by calling 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615, or go to warriorfoundation.org. That is warriorfoundation.org. As we always say this time of year, these are amazing gifts. You're helping people other than yourself. We'll have a give-a-thon coming up for children that are in the hospital at Rady's. We continue on here once again with our Warrior Foundation Freedom Station give-a-thon. This is really incredible what listeners in our community are able to do for others. So we're proud to play a small role here over the next 3 hours, and we're looking forward to catching up with some service members as well.
Yeah, there's a couple annual events that we do every year at iHeart San Diego. One of them, obviously, is our Rady's Children Give-a-thon, and the other is our give-a-thon that we do today at the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station. And I've been to the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station a couple months ago to tour the place. And it's just today is just a great day to give back, and it's a great day to help out our wounded warriors. Holidays are the best time to spend with your family, obviously, in my opinion, and helping send our injured warriors home to spend time with their families. Nothing better than doing that for someone else.
Any donation, large or small, is appreciated. You can call 619-578-2615 or go to warriorfoundation.org. That's warriorfoundation.org. Let's help get injured warriors home for the holidays. So we'll be discussing that and connect with some of our servicemen and women over the next 3 hours. Of course, we're talking sports as well. And Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network will join us in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll have free picks from our listeners from Chris Hodge taking Vegas in the 4 o'clock hour. I'm aware that Chris has already made a very generous donation, by the way.
Yeah.
This afternoon to the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station. He's done this year in and year out with this give-a-thon, with the Rady Children's Hospital give-a-thon as well. So we'll thank Chris on air coming up at 4:30. But we start with what we've been talking about really in the baseball offseason. And the Padres' chances of landing Roki Sasaki might actually be better than you think, which is kind of an LOL to these Dodger trolls that have told us all offseason. It is a formality. He is going to Los Angeles. But unlike 69 Dodger troll 69. Jim Bowden actually has credentials.
Also, I will say, it's not like, when we talk about this today, it's not like, oh, this is a foregone conclusion. He is not going to the Dodgers. Well, because there still is a chance he could go there.
Here's the thing. I don't care what random dude that roots for the Dodgers and trolls our channel and station thinks.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
But I do care what Jim Bowden, who's a former general manager for multiple teams in Major League Baseball and works for The Athletic, thinks. And when he writes this today in The Athletic, I think it's unlikely he'll end up with the Dodgers. His exact words. I'm going to take that over some random dude in our comment section that says it's a formality. Roki Sasaki is going to the Dodgers because he's really good friends with Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So listen, he could end up with any of the teams. That's what makes this fascinating. And because he can only get so much money, it really does open up that possibility. But Bowden today, once again, went to the relationship between Yu Darvish and Roki Sasaki. And again, basically the premise of the piece was, if you think it's a formality, he ends up with the Dodgers, you're mistaken, which, by the way, follows a piece written by Jeff Passan within the last 10 days that said, this is not just the Dodgers to go lose, so to speak. This is going to be wide open. And Jeff Passan said the same thing as Jim Bowden basically said today in The Athletic.
So he followed that up with, reasons why it's not a formality and how he thinks, after talking to league sources and general managers around baseball, it's unlikely, in his opinion, that he goes to the Dodgers. Could be wrong. I mean, everybody's wrong a lot of the time. So could he still go to the Dodgers? Absolutely. Will the Dodgers be in on Roki Sasaki? Absolutely. But in his opinion right now, he thinks it's unlikely. And here is one of the biggest reasons, in his opinion, why. So Sasaki will not be arbitration eligible until 2028 because he will have to sign, or he will sign, a minor league deal coming over from Japan.
3 years, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
And then the last 3 years of a 6-year deal are arbitration years.
And he won't be eligible for free agency until the 2031 offseason.
Yes, after 6 full seasons in the major leagues.
Or 2030 offseason.
Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years. So he speculated, well, how is Roki Sasaki going to get his money? Simple. Endorsements.
Sure.
He wrote, with that in mind, the Dodgers might not be an ideal landing spot for Sasaki. In LA, he'd be in the shadow of both Ohtani and Yamamoto, which would lessen his endorsement ceiling. Yamamoto has experienced this to a degree, as being on the same team as Ohtani has led to Kodai Senga on the New York Mets drawing more endorsement deals than Yamamoto, according to a league source. It only makes sense that Sasaki will consider this factor in making his decision. With the Dodgers, Sasaki could also encounter a massive Japanese media presence, as high as 25 to 35 people that regularly cover the team. While he'll surely be closely watched wherever he signs, that level of attention is not the best situation for a young developing pitcher. He mentions that Sasaki needs pitching development, which does make the Dodgers a fit, but it also gives advantages to teams like the Padres, Rays, Mets, and the Braves that also have really strong developmental pitching programs.
Here's what I would say. When I read what Jeff Passan wrote after he was posted, because remember, it was Kylie McDaniel that said the Dodgers are the favorite. And then Jeff Passan basically said, well, not so fast, my friend. There'll be other teams in on Sasaki. They might be among the favorites, but they're not the clear definitive favorite. And then Jim Bowden follows up by basically saying the same thing. He kind of doubled down, truthfully. Yeah. Like you said, nobody's going to get everything right every time. No. But in his opinion, and again, he's the former general manager, you know, me and you aren't, nor are our listeners.
Right.
But when he says, I think it's unlikely he'll end up with the Dodgers, I'll take that on his face. I mean, based on his experiences in the sport, based on the people that he is speaking with, again, he's dealt with agents. He's dealt with overseas prospects. He's scouted in Asia. And when he writes that, I don't think he's writing that just to get clicks. I really don't. I think that if it was a formality he was going to end up with the Dodgers, I think we would actually hear that type of line of thinking from someone like Jeff Passan. I think you would see people double down on that like Jim Bowden, and we haven't necessarily seen it. By the way, it also was confirmed in this article that, and you may have just said it,
I did,
that he's going to be posted in 2025. So
yeah.
He won't sign before January 15th, which is when the posting period for 2025 opens. So this idea that, hey, maybe he slides in before the end of 2024, it's not going to happen. All right. So that's basically definitive at this point. He'll get his $6 or $7 million in 2025. And by the way, where is he going to get his money? And it's fair. Yes, endorsements. Yes, he'll get his $6 or $7 million. He is arbitration eligible in 3 years as a 26-year-old,
right.
And he is a free agent in Major League Baseball as a 29-year-old after 6 years in the major leagues. He can get another bite at the apple is the point.
But also to maximize everything he possibly can wherever he goes.
Yeah.
Going to LA, as Jim said there, after talking to league sources, like, you are the third wheel. You are number 3 in the pecking order of Ohtani, Yamamoto, and yourself. It just is. Yamamoto is a $300 million pitcher. He's won a World Series. Ohtani is the best player in the sport. He's won multiple MVPs. You're not overtaking that shadow.
Sure.
You go to the Padres, say, you are the number 1 as far as like Japanese pitchers. Yu Darvish also is a top of that list, but a 23-year-old phenom like Sasaki won't be competing with the likes of Yamamoto and Ohtani. He might be competing with Yu Darvish, but you know, Yu Darvish, to me, while we view him as a really good pitcher, I don't think he is viewed in Japan as the level of Ohtani is right now, or even Yamamoto.
Not right now. I think there's I think there's a belief in Japan the best pitcher to ever come stateside is Yu Darvish.
Yeah,
I think there's a belief.
Sure. I believe, yeah.
But that's based on the body of work. Now, is he the most relevant superstar that's come from Japan to America today? Of course not, because of Ohtani and, to your point, Yamamoto and probably Sasaki. What Jim Bowden talked about in here as well was that by Darvish maybe taking him under his wing, you know, late 30s into his 40s, he can then kind of assume that role as he comes into his own in his mid-20s. Again, it's not a guarantee that if he doesn't end up with the Dodgers, he's going to end up with the San Diego Padres. And it's not a guarantee that he doesn't end up with the LA Dodgers. I will stick by this point until he signs with LA. I don't think it's a formality. I don't think it's theirs to lose. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. I don't think it's a guarantee. I really don't. I really don't feel that way. I don't believe it. This idea that why would he go to the Padres? They have no rings and the Dodgers have 8 rings. Why? Well, guess what? There's teams that have more than 8 rings. So he's going to go based on total number of rings. Why doesn't he go to the Cardinals? Why doesn't he go to the Yankees? if it's based on total run. He's not making his choice because he's going to look at the media guide and the Dodgers have won 8 World Series. There's no way that's the primary factor. And it goes back to a point I've been making as well. They won without him. They've already won without him. They've proven they don't need him to win. And by the way, if they do win 2 of the next 3 or 4 of their next 6, what role does he play in that? Like, you're just a cog in the wheel. You'll never be remembered as the defining piece of a team that wins 2 of the next 3 World Series. You didn't win the first. And if they win another, Ohtani's going to play a large role in that.
So what I posted on social media, the part of the article that I kind of raised my eyebrows the most at was this. Another potential factor in Roki's decision and a plus for the Padres is Sasaki's relationship with Darvish, who is said to be like a godfather to the young pitcher. Darvish, 38 years old, signed through 2028. He could serve as a mentor, like you said, for a few years as Sasaki develops, then pass the baton to Sasaki when he is ready.
Yep.
This is the part where I was like, oh, this makes a lot of sense, and I would love if this happened.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Sasaki could potentially maximize his endorsements in Japan if he's on the Padres.
Right.
Positioning himself as a rival to the Dodgers, Ohtani and Yamamoto, rather than a teammate. So that would like, I think that would just maximize everything, because what do we love in sports? We love a good rivalry. We love a good rivalry. And I think a rivalry of Sasaki against Ohtani, like, I would love to see that matchup. Like, I would have loved to see Yamamoto against Ohtani in the big leagues. I would love to see Dodgers, Padres, Sasaki, Yamamoto on opposite sides facing off with Ohtani and Sasaki. Like, that is compelling to me, not only just as a sports fan, but I think, like, for all of Japan, you would love that.
It would also further enhance the budding rivalry that is Padres, Dodgers in Major League Baseball, with which a lot of people believe is one of the best current rivalries. Again, does it rival the all-time Dodgers, Giants? No. Is it Cubs, Cardinals? Of course not. Is it Yankees, Red Sox? No. But is it a very good modern day back and forth series? It absolutely is. That would only enhance it. We're going to continue this conversation on the other side. We do want to hear from you. Our text line is open, 70470. Started with the word team. Again, 70470. Started with the word team. We have great giveaways today. We'll be joined by some servicemen today as we try to get injured warriors home for the holidays with our Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. If you'd like to donate, any bit helps. You can call 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615, or go to warriorfoundation.org. That's warriorfoundation.org. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim, and we're once again telling you about our friends over at Jamul Casino. You need to get there every single Monday night in November, because one lucky winner each week will also be driving home a brand new Mercedes-Benz C-Class. This is every Monday in November. You can earn entries all month long just by playing, and on Tuesdays, you can earn 2 times the entries.
Love that. And while you're at Jamul Casino trying to win that Mercedes-Benz C-Class, you can also watch some really good sporting events happening this weekend. Tomorrow night, Tyson versus Paul. You can watch that at the Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, Loft 94, or their poker rooms. And then Saturday night is UFC 309, Jon. So get to Jamul Casino. You can watch those great sporting events, great atmosphere, great food. Check it out at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub and more.
I might do this so you can leave the holiday cooking to them. Celebrate Thanksgiving all month long at Burgers and Shakes with our Turkey Day Melt,
Ooh.
or indulge in the Thanksgiving calzones
Love it.
at Pizzeria. Then November 28th, join us at Tony Gwynn's Endless Dining for football and all your favorite Thanksgiving dishes.
Love it. So you got to get to Jamul Casino. Great atmosphere. You can win some really, really, really great prizes. Great food as well. Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, like I said, it's the place to be to watch a sporting event. Great food, great atmosphere. Jamul Casino, it's fun above all else.
All right, it's Jon and Jim, and we are trying to get injured Warriors home for the holidays. You just heard the phone number, 619-578-2615. Any donation helps. We appreciate them all. Or warriorfoundation.org. We'll be joined by a guest each hour discussing the impact of the Warrior Foundation Freedom Stations. We also should remind you, you can qualify and win that diamond, that 1.5 carat lab-grown diamond. That's going to one of our listeners, courtesy of a Warrior Foundation Freedom Station sponsor, Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique. To qualify right now, open the iHeartRadio app, search for San Diego Sports 760, click the talkback mic, tell us why you want to win. Simple as that. That's all you have to do. We will qualify someone each day during the midday matchup, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, and Jon and Jim. So 3 chances to qualify each day. Then listen to Jon and Jim on Monday, preferably at some point between 3 and 6, and we will let you know who is the winner of that lab-grown diamond, courtesy of Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique.
Yeah, big shout out to Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique, a sponsor of today's Giveathon,
Right. Yeah.
and for giving us this 1.5 carat lab-grown diamond to give away to one of our lucky listeners out there for the holiday season. Like, this is a perfect time if you're looking for a gift for a loved one, if you're looking to propose this holiday season and you haven't gotten a ring yet.
Well, now's the time.
But also we're here to help you. It's not a ring, it's a diamond. You got to get the the actual ring for it. But at the same time, a 1.5 carat lab grown diamond is an amazing gift. So yeah, hit us up on the talkback mic. San Diego Sports 760 and the iHeartRadio app. Hit the little mic red mic on there and tell us why you want to win it, and you could win on Monday.
I am amazed at the way Dodger fans are spinning Jim Bowden's article. I am amazed because They've gone down this path that there's no other choice to make for Roki Sasaki. You're going to team up with Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. This is simple. It's a formality. We're just waiting for January 15th. We didn't write the article. I didn't make Jim Bowden write these exact words. I think it's unlikely he'll end up with the Dodgers. You may disagree with him. You may not value his opinion, but his opinion in the grand scheme of where we are in this process is as valuable as basically anyone's. Like, you might like the Dodgers and you might say they won the World Series and you might say, well, they signed Shohei Ohtani. Well, that's great. Jim Bowden has more sources than you do. Jim Bowden was a former general manager. You weren't. Again, he's not saying I guarantee it, but why would we take this and say, this has no value? What Jim Bowden's saying has no value because Yoshinobu Yamamoto just went over last offseason. And they're boys.
Who was the random guy on Twitter the other day that said that he talked to Blake Snell and Blake Snell wants to come back to the Padres?
JT Reed?
Was that his name?
Something like that. JT something.
My initial take that day was, yeah, that's probably not listen to people named, JT Reed on social media that has never tweeted about baseball before and I've never heard of before. But let's listen to the people that, actually follow the sport and cover the sport. And when they say something, then I'll put more into it.
Japan.gg on Twitter, for example.
Right.
So they send out a tweet today. This is the tweet.
Yeah.
It's an emergency emoji, like a red light emergency light.
Yeah.
Rumor, Roki Sasaki has already set a deal with the Dodgers. Of course, that would be tampering.
Right.
And isn't possible. He hasn't even been posted. How about this? Their own reply to the tweet. It's a rumor and speculation, not official fact. All the teams are going after him. Yeah. Padres, Cubs, Mets, Yankees, Mariners, Blue Jays, almost every team, etc.
Right.
This is from this. Yeah, people took that. Look at this, 225,000 views, Jim.
Of course.
So people ran with this more than the JT Reed tweet about Blake Snell, truthfully.
Well, it's because on social media now, there's no,
there is on Blueski.
Okay. Blueski.
If you want real information, go to Blue Sky.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Jim Bowden, to me, I'm not gonna take what he says as gospel.
Sure.
But I'm gonna talk about it. If he's saying it and that's his opinion, then we're gonna talk about it. And if his opinion, after what he's, talked to multiple execs around baseball, he's a little more dialed in than you guys and us as well.
Correct.
If he's saying reading through the tea leaves, I think it's unlikely he goes to the Dodgers. Well, then we're going to talk about that. Are we saying that, oh, thank God he's not going to the Dodgers? No, because things could change. Absolutely. When he gets posted, maybe the Dodgers, change their mind or maybe they decide that they do want to pursue him heavily and then he does go to the Dodgers. Well, then, okay, then that sucks. But if Jim Bowden's saying that right now, then we're going to run with that and we're going to talk about it. And as I said the other day, I'm trying to grasp at any legitimate straw.
This isn't grasping. I agree with you. If Japan.gg today said the Padres are the favorite, I'd run with that, but we'd laugh at it and say the same thing as the JT Reed, Blake Snell wants to go to the Padres, but AJ Preller doesn't know if they have money. Jim Bowden writing it doesn't make it factual, but has credibility well beyond Japan.gg, well beyond people in our chat, and well beyond JT Reed.
Yeah, it's his opinion, right? This is not...
Sure, he's not reporting based on fact. He hasn't been posted.
Well, I mean, it kind of is a little bit of a report. Like him talking to multiple execs around baseball. It's like a source report.
Yeah.
I believe it's unlikely that he signs with the Dodgers. Here's why. A, B, C. And the reasons that we talked about. One, endorsement money. Because if you go to the Dodgers, you're third fiddle. You're behind two of the biggest baseball players from Japan. The only way you overtake that, you never overtake that. You have to win multiple
Cy Youngs. You got to win titles. Yeah.
And it's just not happening.
Right.
You're not overtaking Ohtani ever.
No.
Ever. Maybe Yamamoto, but Ohtani, never.
Sure.
Ohtani's the number one guy. And if you want to maximize endorsement money and maximize your star, maybe the Dodgers isn't the best place for you. And that's what Jim Bowden said. Jim Bowden said, here's why it doesn't make sense that he goes to the Dodgers. And then he follows it up with, here's why it does make sense he goes to the Padres and why the Padres are a really good fit. And what I've heard from people talk about why it would be a good fit if he went to the Padres. So, look, Dodger fans can cry all
so
they
funny
want in
because
our
people are like,
mentions
Jim,
about this, but whatever.
Jim Bowden needs clicks. If you want clicks, why wouldn't he just write it the other way? You want clicks? Write it that he's going to the Dodgers.
Right,
Here's why.
yeah,
If you
exactly.
truly want clicks, like that's what you would write. You wouldn't write he's going to the Padres. He didn't write that. But like the clicks isn't, hey, he's going to San Diego. Here's why. Like that's not the big home run clickbait. The home run clickbait is, hey, he's going to the Dodgers. And here's why.
I hope Jim Bowden's right, because you know how bad I want Roki Sasaki here. I am at the top of the Roki Sasaki bandwagon. Like, bring more Roki Sasaki, the better.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I hope what he's saying is true. And I just look at it from, does it make sense? And it does make sense. The Yu Darvish factor, the endorsement factor, the being in the shadow of Ohtani and Yamamoto in LA, all of that. And then the pursuit that AJ Preller has been on with Roki Sasaki, talking about him. It just think it makes sense.
I just think it's the KD to Golden State. Like, you want a title, but you're never going to be considered the reason. Like, you're never going to be the primary takeaway from that title winning team. They already won a title without you, KD. They already won a title without you, Roki. They don't need you. They could have won. We'll never know if the Warriors won a title without KD, but your takeaway from his time in Golden State isn't the Kevin Durant era. It's the Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green era.
And I truthfully think baseball would want Roki to go to any other team but the Dodgers, because they want to expand their brand as much as possible in Japan.
But yeah, potentially, although there is something about the evil empire, rich getting richer, everyone hating or loving one team. But I agree with that. All right, what happened a year ago today, and what impact has it had on the San Diego Padres? We'll continue as well on the other side with our Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. If you'd like to donate, every bit helps. Let's get our injured Warriors home for the holidays. Call 619-578-2615 or go to warriorfoundation.org. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update's brought to you by Taco Bell. Lakers last night beating the Grizzlies, but the big story in that game was LeBron, a 30-point triple-double, 35 points, 14 assists, and 12 rebounds in the win. Thursday night football tonight, battle for first place in the NFC East. Eagles and Commanders, 5:15 kickoff in Philadelphia. And tonight at 6 p.m. is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show right here on San Diego Sports 760 with Coach Lewis and John. This update's been brought to you by Taco Bell.
All right, we do have new reporting on Roki Sasaki we will share with you momentarily. We do remind you about our Give-a-thon going on today. We'll be joined by a retired Chief Petty Officer from the U.S. Navy, Hector Varela, coming up later this hour. He is a current resident of Freedom Station. And again, the Give-a-thon going on right now. If you'd like to contribute, every amount, any amount helps. 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615. Or go to warriorfoundation.org. That's warriorfoundation.org. Would you like to hear the quote-unquote reporting from Jon Heyman at the New York Post at this hour?
Sure, John.
By the way, this is from 6:22 Eastern. This was published 12 minutes ago.
Okay.
All right. So Jon Heyman, this is new reporting. Listen to the way he writes, by the way. This is New York Post writing from Jon Heyman, who, by the way, it doesn't always get this stuff right. Okay.
None
so
of
if
them
people
do.
are going to be critical of Jim Bowden, then I want to hear the criticism as well.
There's like
Jon
one
Heyman.
guy that
Jeff Passing gets it right.
Gets it right all the time. That's Passing.
All right. So this is the lead of the article. This is how he gets into it. Dodgers people say there's no deal yet for Japanese superstar right-hander Roki Sasaki, but insiders are assuming LA is the heavy favorite. The rival Padres are their main Sasaki competition due to his Yu Darvish connection, but it will be a surprise if Sasaki isn't a Dodger. One insider, this makes no sense. Listen to this quote. What does this mean?
All right.
One insider, if I were a star Japanese player, I'd want to be a Dodger too.
Huh?
Okay, so that's like talking to the scout of the Milwaukee Brewers. Hey, would you want to be a Dodger if you were Roki Sasaki? I would. Oh, one insider said that he'd want to be a Dodger if he was a Japanese superstar.
Oh,
then he must be heading there. So that's the new reporting from Jon Heyman, which isn't new. He's basically leaning into everyone's saying Dodgers are the favorite. I'll say it too. But he does make this distinction. The rival Padres are their main competition for Sasaki. So all of a sudden, the Padres have been catapulted up to number 2 on the list from an insider.
Well, they were number 2 on the list a couple days ago, according to betting odds.
True.
Always listen to the betting odds, John.
True.
Always look at the betting odds.
That's
the betting odds, they always know something.
The story.
They tell the story. And the Padres are right there with the Dodgers as far as betting odds go.
Yeah, the difference wasn't much.
Dodgers
One was like 3-1.
Dodgers
right?
3-1, Padres 4-1.
Right.
I don't know how big of a gap that is, but
it's not a big gap.
It's not a big gap at all. So here's the thing. You're going to see a bunch of reports. And like we said, like Jim Bowden, this was more of a like sourced opinion piece that he wrote today. Like what he's hearing from execs and what he takes from that and what he thinks about it. And then why it makes sense for A, B, and C to happen. Jon Heyman, I'm sure at the New York Post is given a mandate. You need to have like a report today for something. Like you need to put out something today.
Yeah, like we're the New York Post, dude. Right? Something.
Yeah, you need to put out something.
Just copy what everyone else is writing.
So there's a lot of times that Heyman puts out reports that are a bunch of nothing burgers because he's probably got a mandate by his bosses. They need to put something out there.
I think he follows the wave.
That's
what other people are saying. I'll go.
Yeah, this feels like a nothing burger from both people, but it is interesting to hear what Jim Bowden said, and it's interesting to put the dots together and be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then if he's saying that the people he's talked to, he feels like it's unlikely that Sasaki goes to the Dodgers. I hope he's right.
Yeah, and again, I mean, this will play out over a period of months because January 15th is still over 2 months away.
It's a long time away from now.
If there's some deal in place, and Jon Heyman, by the way, reports that there is, that's complete tampering. There's no deal in place. And if there is a deal in place.
What did Bowden say?
Well, he didn't say that there was a deal in place.
No, he didn't. But he talked about hold on. Talked about like the posting
Right.
for Sasaki, and he mentioned that obviously January 15th is the day.
Yeah, he said he wouldn't sign before the January 15th posting day in there.
Yeah, he said first, Sasaki won't be signing until after January 15th,
Yep.
when Major League Baseball's new international signing period begins, and each team's bonus pool will be replenished. Because of his age, Sasaki will be considered an international amateur free agent and must sign a minor league deal with a bonus paid from the team's international pool.
Right, which basically confirms what we said yesterday. We talked about this for 30 minutes, and I said, and you agreed, was there's no chance this dude is going to sign before January 15th. It makes no sense.
You know where he put Sasaki on his quote free agent tracker list, like his tiers?
No, I don't.
He put him at number 3, John.
Okay.
Behind Juan Soto and Corbin Burns. He says it's unclear if Sasaki's team in Japan, the Chiba Lotte Mariners, will allow him to leave. This was a while ago. But with the Mariners out of the MPB playoffs, we should know soon, blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. He says he dominated down the stretch this season, averaging a 100.5 mile per hour fastball, reaching 103 miles per hour. And he has electric stuff. So right now on his free agent tracker list,
Well, who's ahead of him?
Juan Soto and Corbin Burns, and that's it. So he has Sasaki as the third best free agent in this class.
I got him higher than that.
So you have
I have him
Soto?
second.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's how he'll be treated around baseball when you see the interest. Now, the interest probably has to do with the money. Yeah. But I think he'll be treated. I think the headline grabbers this offseason are not Corbin Burns. I think it's Juan Soto and Roki Sasaki. I don't think the headline this offseason is where does Corbin Burns land. Yeah, big story. Where does Blake Snell land? Yes, big story. The headline this offseason is where does Roki Sasaki end up and where does Juan Soto end up? Those are the two biggest stories of the baseball offseason. There is no close third. Corbin Burns ain't selling newspapers like Roki Sasaki.
You're right. You're right.
And maybe he is wherever he lands.
He's easily a top 5 free agent on the market for sure, because of his stuff and because of the money, his age, all of that. The more I'm reading and the more you look at Roki Sasaki, it does feel like it might take a little bit of time for him to blossom into like a legit number one guy. But I'm willing to take not that risk, but I'm willing to take the time in order for him to do that.
And it's not costly. Like Yamamoto wasn't a legit number one guy for most of this year. Now he was hurt.
Yeah.
But they were paying him, $30 million or whatever it was to not be a legit number one yet. And he could very well be. He probably will at some point. But like to learn on the job, making $1 million a year, I'm more than willing to take that risk.
Oh, absolutely.
Because so what? So if it takes 2 years, but you've paid him $1 million a year in 2025 and 2026, and come 2027, you've got a top 3 pitcher in the National League, and you're paying him pennies on the dollar. That's a big win. So we'll continue to track it. Jim Bowden says he thinks it's unlikely he's a Dodger. John Heyman says the Dodgers are the favorite. We'll find out over the next couple of months. All right, on the other side, we are going to be joined on the station by Hector Varela. He is a current resident of Freedom Station. He is a retired Chief Petty Officer of the U.S. Navy. We're continuing our Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. He will join us from the Freedom Station on the other side. If you'd like to donate and get injured Warriors home for the holidays, you can. Call right now, 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615. Or go to warriorfoundation.org. That is warriorfoundation.org. Chris Hodge is on the show at 4:30. Cynthia Freeland is on the show at 5:30. This is Jon and Jim. All right, let's get some injured warriors home for the holidays. You heard the number, 619-578-2615, or go to warriorfoundation.org. Every bit, any bit helps, and it's great. It's really our pleasure to welcome in retired Chief Petty Officer from the U.S. Navy, Hector Varela, joining us right now from the Freedom Station on Jon and Jim. And Hector, first of all, thank you for your service. And secondly, I guess just for our listeners, can you describe, to get us started, just the impact the Freedom Station has had on your life? So thank you for hopping on.
Well, thank you for having me on. Yeah, I mean, Freedom Station has helped me out a lot. It's like other vendors around here, especially when you try and transition out of the military. It's very difficult. They not try to do that with the missing limbs or some kind of physical or mental, psychological, or injuries. It just compounds the stress level and the energy trying to transition out and trying to be as a regular civilian, but with multiple injuries. It's just, like I said, just makes it a lot more difficult, more stressful. And by Freedom Station being around, they kind of help out with a lot with the finances, having a place to live, having a place, and then people who have gone through transition, so you can talk to, and they can kind of guide you in the right direction, so you can make a better life after yourself after the military.
And Hector, for you, what has the Freedom Station given you as far as like an outlet in order to better your life and help you out there?
So I like doing sports and athletics as a therapy. So with that itself, they went ahead and just sponsor our team, which is the Wolfpack Witcher basketball team, kind of making a team organization. Just like in the military, we all grow up to be a team, whether it be in a team or being a unit, a squad, the platoon. You rely on your teammates, on the fellow next to you to kind of guide you and push it to the next level. By them being there, by financially supporting us, has allowed us to do that as a team and go compete and be competitors, be a team, be brotherhood, and transitioning through life, I guess you can say, from now on.
So Hector, for our listeners, if you could kind of put into words, like what does it mean to you and other service members when people support the cause, right? When they try to bring people home for the holidays, when they make donations by calling 619-578-2615, or they go to warriorfoundation.org. Like, how meaningful are these donations this time of year?
That's very meaningful. I mean, just because you figure that, especially the young sailors and Marines, airmen going through that to help out, they don't have that much money in their pocket. And then trying to figure that out as you transition out, by having the donation, it helps them getting home for the holidays with their families. Go see mom and dad, go see brothers and sisters, and let them know that they're okay. They're going to be better as they're transitioning out of the military.
How's the team? How's the Wolfpack wheelchair basketball team?
We're doing good this year. We played our first tournament 2 weeks ago, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Played 6 games, lost 1. But other than that, we're doing well. We're doing pretty well.
Love it.
Hector, it's our pleasure. We appreciate you taking a few minutes for our listeners. Again, a retired Chief Petty Officer in the U.S. Navy, resident of the Freedom Station. And again, we're trying to get injured soldiers home for the holidays. And Hector, we appreciate you taking some time here for our listeners. And be well this holiday season. And thank you for taking time for us today.
Thanks, Hector.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for what you're doing.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. All right. So again, if you want to support people like Hector, who was injured fighting for this country, is an amputee, lives at Freedom Station. I mean, think about what they've done for us. The number to call, 619-578-2615, 619-578-2615, or warriorfoundation.org. That's warriorfoundation.org. We get caught up in this. I do. The reason I love sports is it gets you away sometimes from the real world. Mm-hmm. Like, we get so heated about like why Christian McCaffrey hasn't been out there for the first 9 games. When there's people that literally put their lives on the line to protect our freedoms, to allow us to do the things we love to do. That's what gets lost sometimes in the day-to-day, the monotony. For us, sometimes it is monotony. For those that truly are putting their health and well-being on the line each and every day to protect our freedoms, that's a remarkable thing. And really the least we can do is show our support. And if we have the ability to help, we can do it by going to warriorfoundation.org.
And the great thing about the Freedom Station is the facilities there are really nice. And it really is beneficial for our wounded vets because they get a lot of things taken care of for them that we may take for granted each and every day.
No doubt.
And they get the help that they need. And so where I used to live in South Park, the Freedom Station, the one that we are at today, was right down the street from me. And I didn't even know it. Great neighborhood, great area, the facilities, the housing, the community feel of it. Because, like as Hector said there, being in the Navy, one of the biggest things was being a part of a team and being around other people to have that team atmosphere. And at the Freedom Station, you have the facilities right next to each other, and for everybody to be there together, I think it's great.
Again, it matters everywhere. I think it even sometimes hits home more in San Diego. Such an amazing community. There's 115,000 active military members, and to support those that have fought for this country. Again, you can do it during our Give-a-thon all day long, and we really do appreciate each and every donation by calling 619-578-2615 or at warriorfoundation.org, 619-578-2615 or warriorfoundation.org. We've got some great giveaways today, by the way. We'll do that in the 4 and 5 o'clock hours. We still have tickets to give away for the showdown Monday night at Viejas Arena. By the way, the Wolfpack have played at Viejas before during halftime at Viejas. San Diego State's playing Gonzaga coming up on Monday night. We will give away tickets coming up in the 4 o'clock hours. So your chance to win those tickets. Also, I mentioned earlier, but we didn't get to it. 1 year ago today was the untimely passing of Peter Seidler, Padres primary owner, who kind of moved the Padres franchise forward. Moved the Padres franchise forward, whatever it took to win, right? With spending prowess. It's been a year. Of course, the Padres are coming off a very good year, but the Padres, from an ownership perspective, look a lot different than they looked a year ago today. The payroll has come down significantly over the last 1 year, and we're still left wondering this. We've talked about this week. What do the Padres look like from an ownership perspective moving forward without Peter Seidler? We're still trying to answer that question 1 year after Peter's passing.
A year.
Well, I know. We were outside Viejas Arena when we found out the news.
We were?
I thought
we were here.
No, we came back here. We ended up coming back here. We were going to do the remote. Yeah. We ended up coming back here. I was there because I had to record something. You never went there. Yeah. I was there when I saw the tweet.
It's still wild that he's not only gone, but it's been a year.
Yeah.
And the thing about Peter was you're right. He pushed the Padres into a direction of relevancy that they haven't had in this town like ever. And he also pushed them in the direction of competing every year, or at least having the mindset to compete for a world championship every single year. They might have crashed and burned in 2021 and 2023, but at the beginning of both of those years, the mindset has been the same ever since 2020, when he officially took over as the owner of the team. Was, we are going to put together a product on the field that not only San Diegans can be proud of, but we can go out there and compete for a world championship. And every single year, that's been the mindset. And as a fan, you can't ask for anything more.
I agree.
That's what you want from your ownership group, is to have the mindset every year we're going to go out and we're going to compete for a world championship. If you don't have that mindset as an owner and you're a fan of that team, like, I'm sorry, but good luck ever seeing that team win a championship.
We're going to give away Aztec tickets on the other side between now and 4:15, so do not go anywhere. We have 2 free tickets to Monday night, San Diego State and Gonzaga at Viejas Arena, plus the wrap, plus Chris Hodge at 4:30, Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network at 5:30. It is our Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon right here on San Diego Sports 760.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. Last night, LeBron had a big night in the Lakers win, a 35-point triple-double, 35 points, 14 assists, and 12 rebounds. Pretty good for 20-plus years in the NBA. Thursday Night Football tonight, battle for first place in the NFC East, Eagles and Commanders, 5:15 kickoff there. And tonight, 6 p.m. is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show with Coach Lewis and John right here on San Diego Sports 760. The slow roasted cantina chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. Try it today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
All right, hour 2, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. It is our Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. You heard the number to call to donate, and we do appreciate your support of this Give-a-thon, getting injured military members home for the holidays. You can call 619-578-2615. Every donation of any amount, we appreciate. 619-578-2615 or warriorfoundation.org. Again, that's warriorfoundation.org. Chris Hodge, who's been so good for our listeners with his free picks, will join us at 4:30. He's also made today, and he didn't need to do this, but he did it anyway because he heard about the Give-a-thon. He has made a generous donation to this Give-a-thon here today, the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. He'll join us at 4:30. Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network will join us at 5:30. We have Aztec basketball tickets for Monday night against Gonzaga to give away between now and 4:15. We'll be outside Viejas Arena on Monday, getting you ready for that showdown between San Diego State and the number 4 team in America, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. We'll give away tickets coming up in the next 10 or so minutes. So our Give-a-thon continues. The show continues. We have rap questions to get to as well. So let's get to the rap.
It's time for the wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
What do you think of MLB's decision to play Rays games at Yankees spring training home in 2025?
I think it's ridiculous. I think that the fact that the Yankees are going to be getting about $15 million next year just because the Rays will play there is insane to me.
It's in Jupiter, right?
No, it's in Tampa.
Oh,
it's
Tampa.
across from where the Buccaneers play.
Oh, okay.
I just think that the sport itself has a major problem. And Rob Manfred, it's looking the other way. You have 2 teams next year, 2 of your teams playing in minor league facilities.
Well, I don't know what you can do about Tampa.
I know that. I get it. That's
I don't know what you do.
I get it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are options outside of South Florida, but they wanted to keep them in South Florida, which does make sense. I mean, the Yankees, think about this. This is how weird spring training is, and this is why the Rays aren't popular. The Rays are the second most popular team in Tampa to the Yankees, who have had their spring training home there for 100 years.
Right.
So, like, the Yankees train in Tampa. The Rays showed up randomly 30 years ago at the Trop in St. Pete, and nobody goes unless they play the Yankees, and it's all Yankees fans when they're there. So, okay, so you're staying in Tampa is the point. You're still in Tampa St. Pete, which works. But I probably would have used probably a larger facility. I would have tried to find a more major league type facility. Like Tampa seats 15,000?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. I would have preferred honestly, I would have probably, the ultimate troll job would have been to use Oakland.
Tampa,
but they're not going to do
the Oakland Tampa Bay.
They're not going to do that. So
the funny thing is every time you go to a Rays game now, for this next year, you have to walk past like all of the Yankees like monuments and a giant statue of Fort Steinbrenner, and
it's Steinbrenner Field.
Welcome to Steinbrenner Field for the Rays and for the Tampa Bay Rays and the Sacramento A's.
They call it the Boss. Like the field is like it's the Boss, and they're going to play at the home of the Yankees for the last million years.
It's not George Costanza Field.
I don't think so.
It should be.
So. Next question.
Who wins tonight's Thursday night football game between Washington and Philadelphia?
This is like a sneaky good game.
Oh, that's a really good game this year.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Eagles because the Commanders against winning teams this year are 0-3. So
wow.
they've got to prove it tonight. And if they don't, then I kind of put them on a little bit of a fraud watch, because it's good that you can beat the teams that are under 500. But at some point, if you want to get to that level that you're trying to get to, you're going to have to beat some good teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight, if you can win on the road in Philly, then, okay, I consider you to be a good team. But when you're 0-3 against the only good teams you faced and 7-0 against the bad teams, and you got lucky with a Hail Mary against the Bears. So I'm taking the Eagles tonight. Commanders got to prove me wrong.
It was on this night 2 years ago when Jim ruined the perfect season for the Eagles.
That was me.
2 years ago tonight, the Eagles were
10-0.
8-0.
Oh, 8-0.
They then played on a Monday night with Jim in the building and lost. They then rattled off 5 more consecutive wins. So, yeah, this was 2 years ago tonight. This should be a really good game.
And then they beat the Niners in the NFC title game.
That is correct. And then they lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So I will use the Jim factor because Jim's actually going to Philadelphia tomorrow. I say the Commanders win. I think Jim has jinxed the Eagles even being within 24 hours of being in Philadelphia. I think the Commanders win. I think the Commanders win tonight by 7 because you're going there tomorrow.
There was talk of us potentially going a day earlier because Aaron wanted to go to the Eagles game.
Yeah, they would have lost either way.
I know, but I'm just saying, yeah.
Okay, well, I can't fully blame you yet.
No, but you will blame me.
Yeah,
and it won't matter because I don't care.
Right, you really don't. But Aaron does. Next question.
Yeah. Who's going to win the Tyson-Jake Paul fight?
Jake Paul. There's no way in hell they're going to allow Mike Tyson to beat Jake Paul. This is all a Jake Paul run event. Everything with this card is because of Jake Paul. Mike Tyson's there because of the name. No. This thing is just like a fictional made-up event to make a bunch of money, and Jake Paul's going to win either I'm going to say by decision. I don't think he's going to knock out Mike Tyson.
So here's the money line. Paul minus 205, 2-1 favorite. Tyson plus 164 is at FanDuel. A draw plus 1,000. I guess a draw is going the distance. There'd still be a result. A draw is probably going the distance.
Yeah.
This is not going the distance, is it?
It might.
Maybe they just both stay up because it's kind of.
It's only four 4-minute rounds, I think.
No, it says total rounds 5.5 is the over/under, so it must be at least 6 rounds.
Oh, 6 rounds of it. How do you get to 6?
How many minutes is it? How many?
They said it was. I thought it was 16 minutes.
Okay, here we go. Tyson versus Paul rules 8 2-minute rounds, 14-ounce gloves. 8 2-minute rounds.
So it's like quick bursts because they know if they went longer than that, then Tyson would have to give up because he'd be too tired.
But what is the sanction? Because I thought sanctioned boxing was isn't the length of round predetermined and the weight of gloves? But I never heard of 2-minute rounds. Is that how it's done? It's sanctioned boxing, 2-minute rounds? As in, is this real or is this an exhibition?
No, it's real.
Okay.
It goes on their record.
Okay. Interesting. I think Jake Paul wins. I
mean, I desperately want to see a Mike Tyson knockout, but we're not getting that.
Or like a punch out.
Hey.
There's been a meme going around the internet. They're like, this is literally the video game, because in the video game, Mike Tyson's punch out, you have Mike Tyson and the other guy looks like Jake Paul.
That's exactly right. Next question.
How much longer can LeBron play at this level?
As long as Bronny's on the team, probably a while. I mean, last night was like a vintage LeBron game. 35, 14, and 12. Bronny's there, giving him high fives at the end of the bench. It's kind of crazy how he's still doing this. I don't think he can do it for like an entire season, but he can have bursts and moments like this. I give him another, honestly, 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
I thought we've been saying this for forever. I mean, he's okay. 24.3 points, 53% shooting, 46% from 3, 9.4 assists per game, 8.1 rebounds per game. That is gaudy, and that is insane. This is his highest assist total in a season per game since 2019. I mean, his numbers are ridiculous. You're right. I mean, he maybe could do this for another 10 years. I have no idea. His numbers are ridiculous. You could argue he's had a really good career. He could go down as a really good basketball player. Is he a Hall of Famer? You think he's first ballot? LeBron? Will he end up in the Naismith Hall of Fame, LeBron James?
Good question.
He should, even with his under 500 record in the finals.
I think he might get in.
He should get in.
I think he gets in. I think he gets in. Like, it might take him a little bit, but
how was he a rookie in 2003? Go back to 2003. Assuming you were alive then.
I was in 7th.
No,
grade?
you were in like
8th
first grade.
No, I was in 8th grade. I was in 7th grade?
How old are you?
35.
So if you go back to 2003, 21 years, you were 14 in 7th grade. That's why you're dominating on the basketball floor.
No, I was 8th grade.
You were playing like
I was freshman. That's a freshman.
You're like that Padres prospect.
Well, I see here. I graduated in 07.
The Padres prospect.
Yeah, the one that dude that's like 25 and said he was 12.
I graduated in 07.
From high school?
Yeah.
Then in 04, you weren't in 7th grade, dude.
I know. I was in 8th. I was a freshman.
Like 9th grade.
I know. I was a freshman in high school.
No wonder I look at your basketball statures like a double guy. You're playing
at one point
7-year-olds.
At one point, I was the tallest kid in my grade, and then everyone just shot right past me
because you were like in 7th grade and you were 17 for some reason. None of it makes any sense.
It doesn't. It's ridiculous. LeBron has been doing this since I was in high school, and since you were like,
not in. I was. Honestly, it was the year I was out of college. Guy debuts in the NBA.
It's ridiculous, man.
And here's the other thing. His numbers have been pretty good. Do you know his last MVP?
I'm going to go with 2014.
2013.
Oh, close.
So he's really fallen off.
Really has.
No, yeah, his numbers have just.
He hasn't won an MVP in a decade, and he's still at like a high level. I bet he has better numbers now than he did in his MVP year.
Yeah, basically,
or close to it.
Yeah, probably. Essentially,
ridiculous.
He won 4 MVPs in 5 years, and that's the last time he won. Of course, he won Rookie of the Year. He's had a nice career when you look at the numbers. He really has put together.
Pretty solid.
It's kind of been under the radar, but he's been able to put this thing together
because people were like, okay, LeBron this is what he's going to give you. It's consistent greatness every single night. And you take it for granted. And when LeBron's gone, when Steph's gone, you're going to be like, oh, we missed those players a lot.
Yeah, but we'll always have Bronny.
True.
Yes.
Dude, he turns 40 this year, December 30th. LeBron James turns 40.
Dude, he's got a lot of miles on those knees.
I know he does.
But
he's
never had
a major injury.
Right, like never missed a full season. There it goes.
There it goes.
LeBron out for the year.
Oh, his ACL's gone.
Oh, good. Okay, call right
like
now.
That South Park, his kneecaps are just going to explode.
Call right now. You'll need to tell us who we just spent the last 5 minutes talking about in the NBA. First caller that tells us who we've been talking about at 877-767-4760 is going to see the Aztecs take on Gonzaga on Monday night. Who did we just spend 5 minutes talking about and saying he might get into the Hall of Fame? 877-767-4760. Call right now. First caller with that correct answer is going to see San Diego State and Gonzaga Monday night at Viejas Arena. If tickets are available, I don't think they are. They're at goaztecs.com. We'll continue our Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon on the other side. Speaking of Mike Tyson, you're going to hear from him.
Yes, you are.
In a fascinating way. On the other side. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim for our friends at Hamul Casino. This is the month to get out to Hamul. One lucky winner each week will also be driving home a brand new Mercedes-Benz C-Class every Monday in November. So get out there. You can earn entries all month long just by playing. And on Tuesdays, you can earn 2 times the entries.
Yeah, not only can you win a Mercedes-Benz C-Class, but Humboldt Casino is a great spot to watch some really, really fun sporting events. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul tomorrow night at 5 p.m. You can watch that at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, Loft 94, or their poker rooms. And then Saturday night at 7 p.m., UFC 309.
All right. So again, get to Tony Gwynn Sports Pub. Shoot, get there for Thanksgiving. Leave the holiday cooking to Hamul. Celebrate Thanksgiving all month long at Burgers and Shakes with their Turkey Day Melt, or indulge in the Thanksgiving Calzone at Pizzeria. Then November 28th, join them at Tony Gwynn's Endless Dining for football and all your favorite Thanksgiving dishes.
Yeah, get to Humboldt Casino. You can win some great prizes, have some amazing food, and watch all the sporting events that you want. Humboldt Casino, it's fun above all else.
All right, the Give-a-thon continues, and we do have giveaways as well here today. If you want Aztec tickets, if you just missed out, we have another giveaway, a pair of tickets coming up. So don't go anywhere. We'll give those away between now and 6 p.m. It is the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. We'll catch up with another service member later this hour. If you'd like to support and send injured Warriors home for the holidays, is there a better gift? Is there a better thing to do than that? You can donate right now by calling 619-578-2615 or at warriorfoundation.org. That's 619-578-2615 or again, warriorfoundation.org. Okay. No real good segue to Mike Tyson from that, but we could try.
We have to.
So this fight is this weekend in Dallas.
Tomorrow.
Jake Paul, Mike Tyson tomorrow night.
How weird is that too? A fight on a Friday
night, weird. And the way to watch is via
Netflix.
only.
It's one of the
Live
first
event.
live sporting events on Netflix. I
Okay.
think it is the first live sporting event on Netflix. They've done live like reunion shows
Right.
for Love is Blind, which I think were actually turned out to be a disaster the first time they tried it.
No, I thought there was one other recent event they did.
On Netflix?
Like a live.
Do you count the Tom Brady roast?
Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Oh,
of.
that's what
No,
it
I
is.
shouldn't. You shouldn't count that.
Was
That's
that
what I was
live?
thinking of. It was live.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they've done some comedy shows live.
But this is the live. This is a live sporting event.
Okay, so this is tomorrow night,
5 p.m.
5 p.m. Pacific, probably. Tomorrow night, what do you got, Brent?
The first live sporting event was the Netflix Cup. It was a golf tournament that took place in 2023 in Las Vegas.
The Netflix Cup.
Oh, the Netflix Cup. I remember that.
That's way bigger than this.
Wait, no, I don't.
All right, so what are we going to hear from Mike Tyson here getting ready for this big fight?
So he's being interviewed by a child. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
You are setting a monumental opportunity for kids my age to see the legend Mike Tyson in the ring for the first time. So after such a successful career, what type of legacy would you like to leave behind when it's all said and done?
Well, I don't know. I don't believe in the word legacy. I just think that's another word for ego. Legacy doesn't mean nothing. That's just some word everybody grabbed onto. Someone said that word and everyone grabbed on the word, so now it's used every 5 seconds. It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just passing through. I'm going to die, and it's going to be over. Who cares about legacy after that? What a big ego. So I'm going to die. I want people to think that I'm this, I'm great. No, we're nothing. We're just dead. We're dust. We're absolutely nothing. Our legacy is nothing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That is something that I have not heard before. Someone say that as an answer.
Can you really imagine somebody say, I want my legacy to be this way when you're dead? Why do you want somebody you think somebody really wants to think about you? What's the audacity? I think I want people to think about me when I'm gone. Who the cares about me when I'm gone? Well, my kids, maybe, or grandkids.
True.
Cares?
Dude, so this is a Wendy's. You're talking to a 9-year-old.
Oh my God.
Dude, that was very dark. That was like just talking to me.
I'll rip his heart out. I eat his children.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Oh my God.
Thanks for sharing that. That is something that I have not heard before. Someone say that as an answer.
No, yeah.
Good on her.
And you never will.
No, you will never hear that. But I mean, for I don't know how old this girl is, but
she's probably between 8 and 12. She's young.
A teenager or something.
No, I don't think she's a teenager.
She doesn't sound like
she's younger than that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I thought it was a boy. It's a girl?
It's a girl.
No, it was a girl.
Yeah. Asking Mike Tyson just like, hey, what do you want your legacy to be? And he's just like nothing. What? We're all gonna die. And legacies are for stupid people.
Dude, I go back
Who cares about legacy when you're dust?
I go back to this with Mike Tyson. What are you doing? Why are you getting in a ring? I know the reason why, but there should be laws that prevent fighters from fighting in their 60s for money.
There are. He has to pass the physical, and he did.
Which is what, like when they put that little rubber hammer on your knee?
No, not that.
What was that? The rubber hammer on the knee.
Oh, that was your physical, but this is like a sports physical for like the boxing commission.
Now John's out for a year
because it's just like well, yeah, it's like when George Foreman fought when he was old. He had to pass all those things, otherwise they wouldn't clear him.
Are you watching this?
No,
because we have Netflix.
Well, I'll be traveling, so I can't watch it.
If you were
because I think it's rigged.
If you were sitting at home,
I would probably turn it on.
Will I be sitting at home? No, I'll be in Vegas. I would turn it on. I would turn it on. I think I'd be compelled to turn it on
because I just want to see it.
What does it look like?
What does it look like?
Yeah, what does he look like? Tyson.
I do have this like. I want to see Jake Paul get like humiliated. It's like one time. Now he lost to Tyson Fury in a legitimate fight.
So he lost to Tyson
Fury.
Yeah, a decision.
And then, I think he knocked out Woodley, who was a former UFC champion. And he had a couple other like just kind of lame fights. Like he fought Nate Robinson before,
the basketball player.
And knocked him out. And he's been talking a lot of game about how he wants to fight Canelo. Like Canelo would destroy him.
All these dudes are so old.
But I'll give him this. He's smart in this sense. He is never, ever again, I feel like, going to fight a legitimate boxer like a Tyson Fury because he can't afford to like lose multiple times and have his quote unquote star be dimmed. He has to continue to win these gimmick fights and have big names in it. Like Mike Tyson's a big name.
Right. He's a good promoter and marketer.
He's a great promoter, a great marketer, but he'll never be viewed as a like top tier boxer because he's never going to fight top tier boxers.
What if someone gets
Chad
knocked?
just said it was Tommy Fury, not Tyson Fury.
Or Tommy
Oh,
Fury? Yeah,
Tommy
his
There's
son.
a big difference.
What if he gets
Or no, his brother, I think.
Yeah,
what
I
if
think
one
it's
of
his
these
brother.
guys gets knocked out 8 seconds in?
If it's Paul that gets knocked out, that's awesome. If it's Tyson, then that's horrible.
Is it possible? I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's possible. Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
That's what I'm intrigued about. Is someone going to get knocked out?
Well, have you seen those training videos of Tyson?
No.
I'm like, for a dude that's almost 60,
Yeah.
he looks like he would just
Yeah.
run over you like
Yeah,
a bull.
That makes sense.
Scary.
All right, Chris Hodge is going to join us on the other side. He's got free picks for our listeners. Chris Hodge has also made a very generous donation today to the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. We'll hear from a military member coming up later this hour as well. And if you'd like to donate, you can call 619-578-2615 or warriorfoundation.org. We're trying to get injured and ill warriors home for the holidays. It's Jon and Jim.
It's passing through. I'm going to die, and it's going to be over.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. Thursday Night Football tonight in Philadelphia. battle for first place in the NFC East as the Eagles take on the Commanders. 5:15 kickoff time in Philly. And tonight at 6 p.m., it's the Sean Lewis Coaches Show with Coach Lewis and John. You can listen to that right here on San Diego Sports 760. The slow roasted Cantina chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. Try it today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
Always our pleasure to welcome Chris Hodge from Taking Vegas back to Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760. And he did something today he didn't need to do, but he's done it a number of times over the years. He made a very generous donation today to our Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. We're going to be joined by a military member actually coming up later this hour. Chris, you've done this before, whether it's the Freedom Station Give-a-thon or if it's the Rady's Children's Give-a-thon we've had here on San Diego Sports 760. I know you've been on the station for years and years and years, but first of all, thanks for hopping on. And secondly, thank you for doing that because I know it's appreciated here and you didn't have to do it, but thank you for doing it, Chris.
Well, for those guys, I mean, that protect us and protect our country, there's not a better way to, help them out. And, for you guys have always been so great to me in San Diego. So my pleasure to do that.
Well, we appreciate it. And again, Chris Hodge is going to have 2 free picks for our listeners coming up. But tell us the story of what happened last week, because you had someone text you last week and said that you weren't exciting enough for something on the radio.
Yeah.
So what played out here?
Here's the thing with gamblers. Yes, somebody texted in. They get the free pick, which won, by the way. And then he replies to the text, Chris just doesn't sound, he's so low key on the air. He doesn't sound confident enough. And I always laugh at that because I always feel like gamblers, for whatever the reason, they want to be lied to, right? They want some guy like hooting and hollering and screaming. And male gamblers always remind me of like a guy that goes after like a really hot chick, right? And then they have a kid together and the kid is just dog ugly. And then they figure out that hot chick wasn't hot at all. She was fake. She had plastic surgery done, but they fell for it. That's like what a gambler is. Like they want it, for some reason, they want to fall for it rather than I come on, I'm not hooting and hollering, I'm not screaming. I've never screamed with you guys, ever, right?
Yeah, correct.
I come on, I give a business plan, I say this is how it could work, and then I get told I'm not excited enough. So it is what it is. But, we try to get through all that and just do things the right way and make people money, which is the most important thing.
Well, try to make some people some money tonight. The free pick for Washington and Philadelphia Thursday night football game. Tell our listeners how you can get that pick and what you're thinking in that game.
So you can text the word win to the number 545454. You'll get a play on the total tonight. We absolutely love a play on Saturday as well. You'll get that. But interesting side note about this game in terms of the side. The last 6 teams that have played Pittsburgh have all lost the week after. It's like they get beat up physically. And now Washington is playing, after playing Pittsburgh on Sunday in a physical football game, they're playing on a Thursday night. So short week for them, but, divisional rivalry there, kind of throws things haywire. But we really like the total. If you text the word win to the number 545454, you get the total. And then you'll get to play on Saturday. That we absolutely love that. When we do the show Saturday morning, Sports Investors Daily, you're here speaking about from a business perspective, because that's going to be our top game of the weekend.
All right, so you're getting 2 free picks right now. All you have to do is text the word win to 545454. That includes tonight's Commanders-Eagles game. All you got to do is text the word win to 545454. I'm excited for the free picks. The reason why, this first one you have is Kansas-BYU. I'm fascinated by what you're going to say about BYU. I mean, they're undefeated, but the way they won last week against Utah. So what's the play here? Kansas and undefeated BYU in the Big 12.
So here's the thing. I call it the R&R syndrome, right? People that gamble on sports, they look at 2 things, especially it's college. They look at records, they look at rankings, right?
Yeah.
And you see a Kansas team that's 3-6 versus a BYU team that's 9-0, and obviously BYU is number 6 in the country right now. Kansas might be the best 3-6 football team you will ever see. This team, in all 6 losses, was ahead in the second half. In 5 of those losses, they were ahead in the fourth quarter. And in 4 of those losses, they were ahead with less than 2 minutes to go in the game.
Wow.
And they just found a way to lose all of those games. Now, good teams win, bad teams find ways to lose. We get all that. But the fact that they're 3-6, BYU is undefeated. BYU was only 2.5 in this game, maybe 3. The opening line in this game was 7. Okay? So Kansas has done nothing but beat Iowa State to make people believe they could beat BYU. So the fact that that line is coming down the way it is, and BYU is struggling. BYU, look, you talked about how they won the game last week, and they were certainly aided with some calls. A couple weeks ago, they were lucky to beat Oklahoma State. This team, they're kind of dancing through the raindrops, and they've only played one ranked team, which is Kansas State. So I think Kansas, coming off the win against Iowa State and starting to figure things out, I think they're a great underdog in this spot. So if you can get them at 3, take them. I think Kansas could win the game outright, but that's going to be the free pick here. I think Kansas gets it done.
And then Sunday, looking at the NFL, Ravens, Steelers. What do you have in that one?
So here's another interesting one. Baltimore is 1-7 in their last 8 against Pittsburgh, and the one win came by 3 points. If you go look at Lamar Jackson's stats against Pittsburgh, it's almost like you're looking at a different quarterback. You're looking at a guy that would never have won an MVP, much less 2 of them. You know, he is yet to have a rushing touchdown in his career against Pittsburgh, which is just unheard of, right? That's crazy. Pittsburgh has lost 2 games this year by 3 points. Now, Baltimore, 3 points each. Baltimore has this crazy anomaly going on in defense. Baltimore is the number 1 ranked defense in the league against the run, and the last ranked defense in the league against the pass. Pittsburgh is number 2 in terms of defensive points per game allowed. Pittsburgh gets the game at home. Pittsburgh is plus 3.5, and Pittsburgh is playing really, really well. Russell Wilson came back. So this is another situation where Tomlin has owned Baltimore. The Pittsburgh defense has owned Lamar Jackson. You're getting this team as an underdog, and for whatever the reason, people just don't want to believe in Pittsburgh just yet. Pittsburgh is really, really good. So I'm going to take plus 3.5 at home against a team they've owned the last 4 years. We'll take the points, plus 3.5. I think Pittsburgh, if they lose the game, they ain't losing by 4. So I think they win outright or lose a very, very close game.
All right, Pittsburgh plus the points. Again, if you want Thursday Night Football, Eagles, Commanders, it's yours for free. Just text WIN, W-I-N, to 545454. You'll actually get 2 free picks, including Eagles, Commanders. Now, college basketball is underway, and you guys obviously have college basketball opinions as well. Tell us about your start with college hoop season here in November.
We're off to a 7-3 start. We have a game tonight between LSU and Kansas State as well. The information for that will be in the text as well. I have never worked this hard as I'm working this year with college basketball. It is crazy. If you're out there and you work a regular 9 to 5 and, you know, you have to go deal with your family and take care of all the stuff that you have to take care of outside of looking at wagering on sports, I'm telling you right now, college basketball is impossible because the amount of hours that we're putting in, like that game tonight, take Kansas State's best player from last year. He's now on LSU. Meanwhile, Kansas State went into the portal and got 3 kids that are playing really well for them. The amount of change in college basketball from last year to this year is like I have never seen before, ever. That's how hard it is to put the work in to win at this sport. So if you don't have the time, that's why you get involved with us. That's what we do. And, you know, we're off to a good start, 7-3. So if you want to text the word WIN to the number 545454, you get the free pick for tonight. You get a free pick for Saturday, and you'll get information on how you can get LSU and Kansas State tonight as well.
All right, absolutely love that. And Chris, again, very kind. If our listeners missed it earlier, made a really generous donation earlier today to our Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon that's going on right now. And we'll have actually a military member join us coming up in about 5 or 10 minutes right here on San Diego Sports 760. So, Chris, thank you for your generosity, whether it's with this give-a-thon, with the Rady's Children's Give-a-thon over the years here in San Diego. I know San Diegans appreciate it. And as always, we appreciate you, and we'll catch up again next week, all right?
Thanks, man.
Yeah, like I told you in the email, man, dogs, veterans, and kids, I'm all in for it. The politicians, they can go to hell. They don't get $1 a month. But everyone else, we're good.
You heard it from Chris Hodge, taking Vegas. Thank you, Chris. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, Chris.
You got it, guys. Have a good night.
That's great. Warrior Foundation Freedom Station. If you want to support the cause like Chris has, if you want to help get Warriors home for the holidays, I'm talking about injured or ill military members home for the holidays, all you have to do is call 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615, or go to warriorfoundation.org. That's warriorfoundation.org.
And one of our generous sponsors of our give-a-thon today is giving away a diamond, a 1.5 carat lab-grown diamond.
Unicorn Jewelry and
All
Watch
you
Boutique.
got to do is go to our iHeartRadio app, search 760, find the little red talkback mic, hit the talkback mic, tell us why you want to win a diamond, and you could win. We're announcing the winner on Monday. So shout out and thank you to Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique.
This is what my talkback would sound like. Okay, I open the app.
Okay.
This is what I would say. I would hold the microphone down. And
Uh-huh.
this is what I would say. You do it in Thursday. Say, "Hi, it's John from San Diego. I want to win the diamond because it's a diamond.
That's a good way to win.
Thanks for your show. I love it. Jim's an idiot.
We've gotten similar ones.
Right. I mean,
It's not the back half of that message.
It's like, why, run the football if you're a good running football team. Why are you running the ball? Because they run it at 5 yards a pop, and Christian McCaffrey's good. So that's why you run the football. Why do you want the diamond? It's a diamond, right? So we're going to announce a winner in 3 days or 4 days on Monday. So we're going to announce a winner of a diamond. You have a chance to win a diamond that you could find out about in 4 days.
Yep.
Like, it's simple as that. It's not like a 1 in a million odds. You just have to open up the talkback mic in the iHeartRadio app, search for San Diego Sports 760. One of you listening right now has a really good chance of winning potentially that diamond again from Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique. All right, we do have Cynthia Freeland on the show. We can talk about tonight with Cynthia. She's going to join us at 5:30. Right when actually Thursday Night Football gets underway between the Commanders and the Eagles. So Cynthia Freeland will join us tonight at 5:30. On the other side, we will have another military member join the show. Brian White, a former forensic technician in the Marine Corps, will join us on the other side to discuss the impact of the Freedom Station and today's Give-a-thon. Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. And again, if you want to support, bring military members injured or ill home for the holidays. An amazing gift. Call 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615. Or go to warriorfoundation.org. Our Give-a-thon and Jon and Jim continues next. All right, we continue our give-a-thon on San Diego Sports 760. No greater gift than getting ill or injured Warriors home for the holidays. You just heard the number to call, 619-578-2615, or again, warriorfoundation.org. That is warriorfoundation.org. It is once again our pleasure to welcome in another guest at the Freedom Station, Brian White, who is a former forensic technician in the Marine Corps. And Brian, we appreciate your service to our country. And how is it going down there? What's the energy like today with the give-a-thon going on? And thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Yeah, every year I come out here because I've been doing this for the last about, I want to say like 6 years now. Every year it's bigger. Every year I meet more people that I just love them because they're just great human beings. And I don't think there's anyone here not having a good time.
And how important is days like today and our give-a-thon to help support injured Warriors to go home for the holidays? And how much does it mean to people like you and the injured Warriors that are getting help from this give-a-thon?
It means the world to us. Like I said, I've been doing this for about 6 years now. And the first year, or I guess about 7 years ago, I got my plane ticket to go home. And so we were all at the hospital. They line us all up in the morning. They're like, guess what? And I'm like, well, what? And they're like, you're all going home. And we all look around like, well, what does that even mean? And then they explain to us that the Warrior Foundation has purchased plane tickets for all of us to go home for the holidays, which meant the absolute world, because there's two pieces, I feel, to the healing process for all of us that were there. And it was, you got the physical side of it, and then you have the emotional, mental side of it. And you can fulfill pretty much all you need in the physical side of it while you're there at the hospital, the different therapies and rehabs and all that stuff. But it's the mental and emotional part that you're missing. And you can't really check out of being a patient because you're always going appointment to appointment. You're at the hospital. Everyone else there is in the same boat. And it's like, you just want to go somewhere where the topic isn't, well, how are you feeling today? What's your pain scale on 1 to 10? You know, how's the medications we're giving you? How's all this? So it's like the option to go home just means so much. And for most of us, it was financially not feasible for us to go home.
Sure.
And it's not financially feasible for your family to all come down to San Diego and do a plane ticket and a hotel and a rental car and all the food expense. Like it just doesn't work. And so the chance to go home meant the absolute world to me. And so every year since, I mean, I've moved back home to Nevada to be with my family since I was done with the military. But every year I come back and help out with this event.
Yeah, we absolutely love that. Brian White is with us, former forensic technician in the Marine Corps. And again, if you want to make really the gift of a lifetime, thank a local service member, you can do so by calling 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615, or online at warriorfoundation.org. Any gift, large or small, is appreciated this holiday season. So tell us about, since your service, so you attended USD, and now you're pursuing dual master degrees as well at the University of Nevada, Reno?
Yeah, so once I got done, once I got out, this is just a small piece of what Warrior Foundation does, the flights home. And it was my introduction to Sandy and the group of volunteers here that, you know, like second family now. But they do transitional housing once you're out, because when I was getting out, I was like, there's no way I can afford to live in San Diego. I mean, we all know how expensive it is. And so they helped out with that long enough to catch my, footing again, to figure out what I was going to do. And so I ended up going to USD, got my degree in finance, then ended up going back again and getting my master's in real estate. And then, my family's getting older, and I'm the son that's going to be the one that's responsible for helping out with everything as, our parents get older. And so I moved back to Reno, and now I'm getting my MBA and my master's in business analytics. And I guess you can call it on the side. I don't really consider it on the side, but I started a consulting firm where we help small and medium-sized companies that are still founder-led scale by, operations and putting in systems and models.
Wow, that's fantastic. Brian, you mentioned transitioning out of, the military or the Marine Corps, and the facilities here in San Diego at the Freedom Station. Can you just talk about how those facilities are so important for military members and vets in transitioning into, civilian life?
Yeah, of course. I don't think I would be where I'm at today without the help of Sandy and Warrior Foundation. San Diego is great when it comes to military support and taking care of veterans. And there's so many opportunities here. But like I was saying, there's no way I could have stayed here to take advantage of those opportunities just because I couldn't afford the cost of living here.
Yeah.
But I mean, even since then, I mean, Sandy does so much for not just me when I was here, but like even now she's still calling and texting me wanting to check in, even though she knows I'm okay. And I'm more of trying to text and call her and be like, hey, what can I do to help? Other than just come down for this. And so it just, the support that they give is just incredible. And the part that still blows my mind to this day is they're all volunteers. No one gets paid. And that part was just what amazed me the most, is just out of the goodness of their heart, they wake up and do this 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Amazing. Brian, we appreciate you sharing some of your story. Again, former forensic technician in the Marine Corps, down at the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon going on right now. And again, if you want to support local service members this holiday season, get them home for the holidays, call 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615, or visit warriorfoundation.org. That is warriorfoundation.org. Brian, thank you. Happy holidays, and we appreciate you taking time for us. And thank you for your service.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate the support.
All right, great stuff from Brian White. We'll have another military member joining us in the 5 o'clock hour as well. It is our give-a-thon here today. We mentioned it during the first hour. There is not a greater gift you can give. People like Brian White allow us to live the lives that we are so fortunate to live in America with these freedoms. So we thank Brian. And again, if you want to support and get a military member home today for the holidays, 619-578-2615 or warriorfoundation.org. We've got a big 5 o'clock hour. Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network will join us at 5:30. The Padres' chances of landing Roki Sasaki might be better than you think. Plus, more Aztec tickets to give away for Monday night. That showdown against number 4 Gonzaga. We'll be outside Viejas Arena. We have a pair of free tickets to give away for San Diego State and Gonzaga coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. It's hour 3 of Jon and Jim. It'll come your way next. All right, what am I doing?
Go on, John.
Yeah, let me
Update
do the
us.
Update. Who cares? Let's prove that Jim has no value here. I'm kidding. You have a lot of value. All right, this update is brought to you by Pico de Gallo. No, it's brought to you by Taco Bell, but they have a pronunciation for Pico de Gallo. Just do the read. Or do you want me to do it? All right, Lakers. Who cares about the Lakers last night? It's been 24 hours since they played. Now, people do care about Thursday Night Football tonight. Eagles, Commanders, first place on the line in the NFC East, 5:15 kickoff in Philadelphia. Cynthia Freeland, by the way, from the NFL Network, will join us at 5:30. Tonight at 6 p.m., Sean Lewis Show right here on San Diego Sports 760. Me and Coach Lewis get you ready for San Diego State and UNLV Saturday at 7:30 with pregame coverage beginning at 5:30. And again, this report brought to you by Pico de Gallo. No, I'm kidding. The slow-roasted Cantina chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage and freshly prepared...
Freshly?
Shut up. Pico de Gallo. Try it today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies. Your mic's in the way, idiot.
Cabbage and freshly prepared.
I'm going to... All right, hour 3 of Jon and Jim. As we do continue on here with our Give-a-thon here this afternoon. You can thank a local service member today with the gift of a lifetime. It's the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. Here's the number to call if you've been listening to us over the last couple of hours. If you want to make just a really impactful gift this holiday season, get service members home for the holidays. That's an incredible gift. Call 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615. Or visit warriorfoundation.org. That's warriorfoundation.org. It's been an enjoyable day. We're grateful for your support of this give-a-thon that will continue here on San Diego Sports 760 for the next hour as well.
Yep. So if you want to donate, you have an hour left, and all the donations go to great causes. So as Jon said, he gave the phone number and where to go, warriorfoundation.org if you want to donate.
Yeah, you can go there right now. Again, warriorfoundation.org. If you don't want to talk to someone, do it at your own leisure, or 619-578-2615. We started the show by talking about an article written by Jim Bowden at The Athletic today, in which he offered up some theories on why he does not believe it is likely that Roki Sasaki ends up with the Dodgers. His exact words in the article: I think it's unlikely he'll end up with the Los Angeles Dodgers. We also heard from Jon Heyman today, take it for whatever it's worth, that he still considers the Dodgers the favorites, but the team that's coming in second right now are the San Diego Padres, behind the Dodgers in the sweepstakes for Roki Sasaki. Jim Bowden laid out a compelling argument. He's got credibility, unlike some people, obviously, on social media that we've referred to over the last week or so. But Jim Bowden says it's unlikely, in his opinion, he ends up with the Dodgers. What do we make of it?
Well, I mean, there's going to be a lot of speculation here for the next couple months, because I think we can all agree that we would be kind of surprised, actually not surprised, shocked, if he gets posted in like 2 weeks,
Yeah, Jim Bowden saying that wouldn't happen.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets posted between the window of, what was it, December 2nd and the 15th? I think I said yesterday.
Something like that.
Because then that lines up with the 45 days until the 2025 year, which is January 15th for international money, pool money. And teams would have 45 days to negotiate with Roki Sasaki. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets posted then, and then he can choose either or, which signing period doesn't want to be involved with. But we all know he's not choosing 2024 because like no teams have any money left.
Right.
It's going to be 2025 when every team in baseball has their max pool money that they can spend on Roki Sasaki.
Right. The argument that Jim Bowden lays out is, listen, the Dodgers have 2 Japanese superstars. You're going to be a third fiddle. If you're going to make money, you're not going to do it in the posting fee as this young player. You're going to get $6, $7, $8 million, whatever it is. Endorsements will play a large role. Now, can you get endorsements in LA even as the third fiddle? Of course you can. It's Los Angeles. But are there more opportunities to star outside of LA? There absolutely is. And this idea that Darvish and Sasaki serve as some type of rival to Ohtani And Yamamoto, I think, is at least intriguing from Jim Bowden's perspective. Maybe it levels out that playing field and increases the rivalry as well between San Diego and Los Angeles. That's it. That's an interesting argument. I think it's very easy to say, well, why not just join Yamamoto and Ohtani? It's worked out for them.
Mm-hmm.
What about, writing your own story or carving out your own path if you're Roki Sasaki?
I'm really hoping that Yu Darvish is like the
Team
key
Padres.
to signing Roki Sasaki. I really hope that's the case. It wasn't the case with Seiya Suzuki, where he basically told him, yeah, love Chicago.
You should see their pizza.
Go to
It's
Chicago.
incredible.
It's great there. And we're all like, what the hell are you doing?
It's great in the summer. You're going to love it.
Love Chicago.
You will love it.
It's great.
Spectacular city.
Yeah. Can maybe you not do that this time? I love you, but let's hype up the Padres in San Diego a little bit here. Let's get Roki Sasaki here to San Diego. That'd be nice. And as Jim Bowden says in his piece, Sasaki's relationship with Yu Darvish, who is said to be like a godfather figure to the young pitcher, could help the Padres in signing Roki Sasaki, because Darvish could be viewed as a mentor figure to Roki Sasaki to help him show the ropes. Of course, with how many years Yu Darvish has been in the States and in Major League Baseball, he's like the perfect person to talk to about anything that comes up that Roki Sasaki has questions on. Like, I can't think of a better person, and I might be biased here, but if I wasn't biased, I'd still probably say the same thing. Think who's a better person to talk to in Major League Baseball if you're a Japan, superstar phenom pitcher, to talk about like the ins and outs of the major leagues.
Yeah, I mean, again, would Yamamoto be on the list? Yeah, but he's only been here for a year. I mean, Darvish is the elder statesman.
Right.
Here's the thing. If you look back at recent baseball history, I'm talking about 25 years of guys coming over from Japan, there actually aren't a ton of instances of quote-unquote superstars teaming up from Japan to play together. Now, that has changed. Look at Yamamoto and Ohtani. But that's a bit of a rare instance. Not that players from Japan haven't played together, but superstars from Japan have not often teamed up together. Now, the Dodgers had it. Now, will the Padres potentially have it? Make no mistake, in Japan, Yu Darvish is a superstar.
He is.
He is one of the most accomplished pitchers in the history of baseball that came over from Asia, right? Absolutely. Arguably the most accomplished Japanese-born pitcher in Major League Baseball history. So make no mistake, Yu Darvish is a superstar. And here's the other thing. Roki Sasaki is as well. Can you pair them together? I think the answer is yes, because look at Yamamoto and Ohtani. Again, I think there was a previous belief it's hard to do that, but I'm with you. It's like that kind of is if you're Sasaki, it's your introduction. Darvish shows you the ropes. 1 or 2 or 3 years down the road, Darvish transitions out. He's going to be in his 40s.
Or 2 years,
Yeah, whatever it is. 1 or 2 or 3 years from now, Darvish is retired in all likelihood, but now Sasaki takes center stage in San Diego as like a 25-year-old. Great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I love the point that Jim made, kind of in his, it was like an opinion piece with also some, things in there that it's based on the conversations that he's had with people around baseball, is that if you're Roki Sasaki, one thing that might be enticing, if like you're a true competitor, is this rivalry between the Dodgers and the Padres that has been formed and, building over the last couple years. You come to San Diego, like you said, it's a Yu Darvish, Roki Sasaki versus Ohtani and Yamamoto. Like,
throw that thing on Sunday Night Baseball.
That, to me, if you're a baseball fan, if you're baseball, you want that, I feel like. And yes, I'm being biased. Of course I want Sasaki here, but
it's an
angle that I'm looking at that helps all parties out. It helps everybody out. The Dodgers don't need any more help. They're good. They're going to go sign Willie Adames this offseason and like Tanner Scott and probably like Corbin Burns or something, right? You need to make sure that this rivalry stays at the high level that it has been if you're baseball, because the last thing you want, I think, is the Dodgers just running through everybody every single year, right?
It's interesting you say that, and then I actually think about it from another NL West perspective. Like, are the Giants going to be in on Roki Sasaki?
They possibly could.
Because that to me is also, again, you think West Coast with Japanese players, right? Because of proximity, it's easier to get there. historically speaking, now again, have the Yankees signed Japanese-born players? Absolutely. But there have been enough, I'd say more Japanese-born stars have ended up playing in the West than have played in the East after getting posted. I think that's an accurate statement. When I think about the West, it's easy to say LA. They've had success. They won a free agent Ohtani, and they won a free agent essentially in Yamamoto as well after he was posted. Seattle's history, obviously, with Ichiro. You know, Padres have had Japanese-born players like Yu Darvish right now via trade, but when I think in the West, I don't know if it's going to come down to the Dodgers and the Padres. Maybe there will be mystery team, San Francisco, Seattle, someone else that gets involved in this. As in, I don't think it has to be San Diego if it isn't LA. And truthfully, like from that Giants perspective, like that's probably pretty good for baseball too, to have a Giants-Dodgers thing going on.
But I also I look at it that are the Giants ready to
that's maybe part of it
compete with the Dodgers? Like
no, probably not.
Right. They're going through kind of a rebuild right now, especially with Buster Posey taking over there for Farhan. And with Posey taking over for Farhan, you know, has he ever talked about or talked to Roki Sasaki or scouted him?
I have no idea.
We know AJ Preller has heavily scouted Roki Sasaki.
That's a good point. So you're saying the relationship goes back further with some of these teams.
And this is a sweepstakes. This isn't a who has the most cash. This is a who has formed the best relationship to convince this phenom pitcher to choose them.
Kind of the white whale theory. Like we always say with Preller gets in on guys for like a decade. He was in on Darvish in the Rangers organization.
And guys like Leo DeVries, Ethan Salas.
But he gets in on guys early and then tracks them. And even if he doesn't end up with them, he gets back with them like a Darvish. Roki Sasaki came up during the memorial for Peter Seidler, who passed away. Profar going back to a young player, obviously. Yeah. But Roki Sasaki's name came up publicly from AJ Preller at the memorial service for Peter Seidler. Now, that wasn't a year ago today, but Peter passed away a year ago today. The point is, this is a long time project, so to speak, passion project for AJ Preller. Relationships do matter. It's a little bit like recruiting. The teams that are first in sometimes win the prize. If you're the first team to offer the star quarterback, you might not be the best team. Maybe Alabama isn't in first, and all of a sudden you're able to get a player at, I'm making it up, Georgia Tech, because you were first in, even though Alabama got in late. Maybe the Padres, because of this long relationship that's been developed between Preller and the player, have a leg to stand on beyond other organizations. I don't know what it looks like with the Dodgers.
I don't know either.
That's the one thing I don't know.
But like I said the other day, I might be naive, but when I hear AJ Preller publicly say Roki Sasaki's name, as far as like guys that he brought up a lot with Peter Seidler, and I see Roki Sasaki wearing Padres gear, that's kind of all I need to know about the level of interest the Padres have in Roki Sasaki. And just like thinking about it, I don't know if this is like the case or not, but you know how you're playing chess while I'm playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers, right? I wouldn't put it past the Padres and AJ Preller to think long term and say, and I don't know when they started scouting Roki Sasaki, truly I don't. But yeah, hey, if Roki Sasaki and Yu Darvish relationship is as good as we have seen it so early on, this extension for Yu Darvish could help us in the future land Roki Sasaki here. Like remember he got the extension, we're like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I do.
That's just like a theory that I have, like a conspiracy theory. Like, hey, you can kill two birds with one stone here and help you land Roki Sasaki whenever the time comes, because of how the relationship is between Darvish and Sasaki, which is, as it's been reported, like he's like a godfather to the guy.
How about this? Like kind of on cue to this conversation. This is from Sean O'Neill at MLB.com. San Diego's interest in Roki Sasaki is a long story.
And
what I've been saying. It doesn't really lay out the exact timeline, but it's absolutely a player they've been in on for, as he writes, years in the making. So more on Roki Sasaki and the Padres' interest, plus an update on Miles Byrd, San Diego State star guard who missed last week's game. Will he be back for Gonzaga? We have an update there. Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network on tonight's Thursday Night Football game and more will join us coming up at 5:30. And we'll also be joined by another military member as we continue our Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. Again, if you want to make a difference and get injured Warriors home for the holidays, you can call 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615, or go to warriorfoundation.org. That's warriorfoundation.org. It's Jon and Jim. All right, there is still time to donate, help get injured Warriors home for the holidays. All you need to do is go to warriorfoundation.org. Warriorfoundation.org or call 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615. We'll be joined by another military member coming up around 5:45 here tonight on Jon and Jim. Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network will join us in 10 minutes. How about this for Aztec fans? We'll give away Aztec tickets for Monday night against Gonzaga between now and 5:30. So do not go anywhere. We'll give those away. We'll let you know how to win those tickets. A pair of free tickets for San Diego State and Gonzaga Monday night at Viejas Arena at 7 p.m. And speaking of the Aztecs, Jim, there's an update on Miles Byrd, who rolled an ankle Monday, didn't play Tuesday against Occidental, was in a boot on Tuesday, and I believe yesterday as well. He is out of the boot.
Oh,
he's been receiving treatment. He was, we saw some video today from a media member that he was, I guess, lightly participating. I don't think he participated in practice, but was doing some like warm-up drills earlier today. He looked a bit, I don't know how to, not hobbled, but gingerly like working on this leg because he rolled his ankle. But again, out of a boot, game is Monday. That's the benefit. It's not like there was the quick turnaround. There was a long time between the rolled ankle and this game against Gonzaga. What do you think? I mean, if you're out of the boot and you're beginning to partake in practice, you think he's going to give it a go on Monday?
It's a good sign for sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, just because a player happens to be seen in a boot and on crutches doesn't mean that you should fear the worst. A lot of times it's just like protect them from anything happening. It's just like a protective boot to make sure that ankle is, stable and he doesn't all of a sudden walk on stairs and then just like twist his ankle again.
Right. Good point.
So I don't know the true severity of it, but this is a very good sign with him not wearing a boot, walking around at practice. I don't know if he, like you said, practiced at all.
I don't think he practiced.
But it's a good sign, and it's Thursday, so hopefully by tomorrow it's a little better, and then a little better on Saturday, and a little better on Sunday, and then you get on Monday morning, and you're like, I feel like I'm good to go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a really big part of it because the thing is you need all hands on deck, okay? And even with all hands on deck,
it still will be really
you're
hard.
taking on number 4, a team that's got 80% of their scoring back. And this isn't just like, oh, it's a decent team with 80% of their scoring back. They were a Sweet 16 team last year. And Aztec fans are going to be familiar with someone like Ryan Nemhard, who was at Gonzaga last season and has had a really good career and has faced the Aztecs previously at Creighton and at Gonzaga. Graham Ike, who was at Wyoming. I mean, this is kind of like there's a bit of a soap opera playing out between San Diego State and Gonzaga. They've played a good amount for not being in the same league. They're going to be playing moving forward. The Aztecs went through Ryan Nemhard at Creighton in the Elite Eight. He committed the foul on Darion Trammell from behind. So think about that from Nemhard's perspective. He's a great guard, one of the best in America. He loses in the Elite Eight to San Diego State 2 years ago. That would have been Creighton's first Final Four. They lose on a last-second play, right?
Yeah.
And then a year ago, they host San Diego State. It's his first year at Gonzaga. They lose the game at the Kennel.
Like going away.
Yeah, Reese Water. I mean, the Aztecs won by 10. They led by as many as maybe 20 at one point.
It was a
good
as
win.
A complete of a game you could have for the Aztecs.
And then again, like someone like Graham Ike at Wyoming, you couldn't get past San Diego State, right? Like when Graham Ike was at Wyoming, he couldn't get over that hurdle. Last year, he's at Gonzaga. They lose. So my point is, like, you think San Diego State fans have it circled? Gonzaga's got it circled.
Yep.
They lost last year at home.
Yeah, now they're going to want to return the favor.
Exactly.
So it was already going to be a tough putt if you even had Reese Waters out there.
Yeah.
And Miles Byrd.
Absolutely.
But now if you're missing both those guys, yeah, it's not going to be easy at all.
Won't be easy. Crowd's going to play a huge factor. It'll be Gonzaga's first road game. And then you just kind of see what happens. I mean, Viejas alone, and this is credit to Dutch and Fisher. Viejas, it's not like you fall out of bed and win 90% of the time, but under Dutch and Fisher, they win 90% of the time at Viejas Arena.
You're basically going to need to get extremely hot. You're going to have to play like the best defensive game and hope the Gonzaga goes a little bit ice cold there.
Yeah, I think it's all about defense keeping you in it.
And you're going to need to get at least 2 guys to have some big scoring outputs.
Yeah. Like someone, right. You're going to need Nick Boyd scores. I'm making that
22,
21, and Wayne McKinney adds 20.
Yeah. You're going to need multiple big time scoring outputs.
You got to keep up.
If you tell me right now that the leading scorer for the Aztecs on Monday night has like 13 points, I'll be like,
that's not enough.
That's, I don't know, unless you had like 5 guys in double figures. But even then, that's, you're going to need somebody to step up and probably multiple people to step up and have some really big games. And defensively is a big part of it as well.
And here's the thing. Can you beat Gonzaga 63-58? when they score 101 against
No,
Baylor and
I don't
88 against Arizona State? Like,
Probably not.
can you play it at your, and maybe not 63-58, but can you beat them 73-68? It'll be interesting to see the tempo. Styles make fights. Will it be more low scoring, which is what SDSU wants, or more high scoring, which is what Gonzaga wants? Again, Monday night, you can hear it on San Diego Sports 760, and caller 7, you're going. How about that?
Okay.
Caller 7, you're going. 877-767-4760. 2 free tickets to the showdown at Viejas Arena against number 4 Gonzaga. It'll be rocking. This is an amazing giveaway. Call right now. Caller 7, you are going. 877-767-4760. Call right now. Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network will join us next as we continue on here on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. Eagles and Commanders Thursday Night Football underway in Philadelphia. We have a scoreless game in the first quarter, 9:30 left to play there in the first. And tonight at 6 p.m., we have the Sean Lewis Coaches Show with Coach Lewis and John right here on San Diego Sports 760. The Slow Roasted Cantina chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. Try it today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
Yeah, our give-a-thon continues until 6 p.m. We'll be joined by a military member coming up at 5:45. It's always our pleasure as well to talk with our weekly NFL guest, Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network, courtesy of Hamul, back with us here on Jon and Jim. Cynthia, we do appreciate it. We know that Thursday Night Football is underway between the Commanders and the Eagles. Is this bigger, presumably, for Washington playing on the road than it is for Philadelphia, or how do you look at tonight?
I think the one thing that would be good is if, look, I think it's a huge win for Washington if they can either win or get a close loss and not have something look very lopsided. I think the Eagles are kind of in pole position here because until Marshawn Lattimore is fully healthy for the Commanders, they're kind of not at their full strength in terms of defending deep passes. And we know A.J. Brown is a very good deep target. Same thing with Devontae Smith, et cetera. So I just think Washington, use that. The fact that you're playing with house money and make it look good, because remember they still have their home version of this, so at Washington left to play this season.
One of the best games of the weekend, in my opinion, Cynthia, Ravens and Steelers. Big matchup in division. Ravens are viewed as one of the best teams in the league, but the Steelers at 7-2 at home hosting the Ravens. I mean, this is a big game for the Steelers to kind of prove that they're one of the potential top teams in the AFC.
100%. And the fact that at Acrisure, they're home dogs by 3 points, that is probably pretty infuriating for Steelers fans. They're like, what do we got to do? We won 7 games. But when I'm looking at the opportunity for Russell Wilson to keep the deep connection going, that is obviously where the Ravens have struggled. The Ravens' run defense is awesome. The Ravens' pass defense, not so much. So if you look at all the different ways they've given up passing yards, it seems to very well fit with both what we've seen from the very charismatic George Pickens. Go back and watch his plays. Like after every play, he's doing something like hilarious. Like he seems pretty funny. And also adding Mike Williams gives them just another threat to potentially confuse or shake up some of the things going on in that secondary under Zach Orr, which has not been a Ravens defense we're used to.
Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network with us right now on Jon and Jim. It's like the 11th must-win Jets game of the year. I don't even know if it's must-win anymore. They're at home against the Colts. I mean, where are they? Because Aaron Rodgers, I guess, telling media that he thinks he'll be back in 2025. Like, what is the state of the New York Jets?
I feel like can we stop talking about the Jets and the Cowboys now? Like, I'm over it. Like,
I'm with you.
Not to, I want every team to be good. I truly want every game to come down to a last-minute possession because I love watching good football. But on some level, we haven't seen great football from the Jets, and we've seen really, really, really inconsistent play from the Colts, who are now going back to Anthony Richardson, which to me, they're trying to leverage some of the mistakes that we saw from the Jets defense in terms of missing tackles last week against the Cardinals. This is one of those stupid games where it has all of the makings of Aaron Rodgers passing for like 290 yards. And I say that specifically because he's on a weird streak of passing for under 300 yards, but he scores 3 passing touchdowns, and they act like they're relevant and heroes again just for another week until the next matchup, and then they lose. And I mean, this is a weird roller coaster run with the Jets.
So another huge matchup this weekend, Cynthia, Chiefs and Bills, undefeated Chiefs going to Buffalo. If the Chiefs pull off this one, Cynthia, it just feels like they're dealing with some crazy voodoo magic here, right?
I mean, the Mahomes magic that I can subscribe to is really how good he's been on third down. I mean, he has the second most first downs off of third down just by himself. And by the way, the guy who's number 1 in that metric is Joe Burrow, which is kind of surprising to me. But when I'm looking at what's making them win, obviously, look, like it is so rare to block a field goal, even if you have a little bit of an advantage with some, special teams players getting rocked, whatever. It's still very rare to have it happen. So look, sometimes you end up on the right side of luck, but at the end of the day, the defense is really bolstering this team. And if they can manage to beat the Bills at Orchard Park in Bills' home territory, again, I'm hesitant because there are some asterisks here with injury report news from the Bills side. Like if Spencer Brown's not playing, that's going to be the right tackle. That's going to be an interesting problem that they have to solve. But long story short, if the Chiefs can do that, then maybe it is a conspiracy and everything's written, and I just need to find better people because then I can make all of the picks right and never get one wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's interesting. I think Buffalo should be fit. I mean, the Chiefs are 9-0, but they should be based on the way the Chiefs have won 7 one-possession games. Like to your point, Cynthia, winning on a blocked field goal. I mean, just looking at the schedule, at Bills, at Steelers is on it. They have the Chargers. It's
tough.
How many games are they going to lose? Are they going to go 15-2? They're the likely 1 seed, right? Regardless of what happens this weekend.
Yeah, I think that the chances that they end up as the 1 seed are extremely strong because the opportunity to get under a team like the Bills, who are the next closest team, even with right now they're just so far ahead. And then if you look at the Bills' remaining schedule, it's actually pretty difficult as well. They've got a date with the Lions, et cetera. Like there are some losable games for the Bills. There's some losable games for the Chiefs too. But when you're looking at like the Bills would have to lose significantly fewer than the Chiefs. So. You look at those two, and it's very unlikely that the Chiefs won't get that first round bye.
They're probably not going to win their division, but they've kind of under the radar had a pretty good season to this point, and that's the Chargers, Cynthia. At 6-3, their defense has been completely changed over the offseason with just bringing in better coaching. Like, do you view the Chargers as one of those sneaky teams to watch out for when it comes postseason time?
Yeah, I mean, I think this weekend's a really big test because even though they've played Patrick Mahomes, if you look at the people who they've played before this week, I don't know if you've seen any quarterback who's in his bag in the moment that they play as much as you've seen Joe Burrow these past few weeks, especially with Jamar Chase, especially with likely getting T. Higgins back. So when I'm watching this defense and I'm seeing, okay, well, as of today, we've got some Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa were both on the injury report, but I feel like that happens every week. I don't think it's a big deal. I'm always going to put it out there though, just so everyone has all the information. But if it still looks the way it's looked this week, then you can really talk about them making some noise in the postseason. But I'm really curious to see because very quietly the Bengals O-line has helped Joe Burrow staying out of pressure's way at a top 5 rate. That is not something we usually say about the Bengals. Joe Burrow has been great scrambling. He's got top numbers in terms of scrambling yards, touchdowns, etc. And then if you look at what Jamar Chase has done against zone defense, the answer is all of the yards and all of the touchdowns. And that's something that they play. So I completely agree with you. This team has been quietly just banging out these great wins. And, people don't talk enough about the fact that Justin Herbert has an over 90 passer rating in every single game this season. He's been interception free, turnover free in the past 7 games. Like these are things that make any coach happy. But if you can go watch like a really funny social clip that the Chargers put out about like, coach just really like Harbaugh really he called him like crazy names like Her Beast and stuff like that. Very charming stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how
he's different,
built differently, but it works.
It does.
It's really fascinating how it's been able to work. It really is. Cynthia Freeland,
it's authentic. If nothing else, it is authentic. He means it. He's not putting on a show. That is who that man is.
He's cut from the Dan Campbell cloth, in my opinion. Like those two guys are probably the 2 most authentic coaches in the league, and it works.
And the way he's done it too. I mean, you think about the Harbaugh path. Like he was at the University of San Diego. Like the path is really interesting. Like he's gone about it. Like there's been no shortcut here. San Diego, Stanford, NFL, college, NFL. Like it's been a full life post playing days for Jim Harbaugh. All right, what about the Bears? Does anything change with the change at coordinator, Cynthia?
I spent a lot of time looking into this because, obviously Thomas Brown was out here. He was an LA assistant head coach for 2 years. One of those years was a Super Bowl winning year. What could be different? Well, obviously Caleb Williams has been sacked the most of any quarterback, 38 times. 9 of those have been unblocked. Those are the worst kind of sacks, meaning there wasn't even a chance that the guy could have been stopped. Like they're just coming out of nowhere. I do think 12 personnel throwing out of 12 is a good value proposition against the Packers. They've allowed the most yards after the catch. They've allowed the highest completion rate on passes from 12, so 2 tight end formations. I think that'll be something we see. Better run principles will also be an area that it's impacted. I don't think it has any impact on who wins the game, but I do think it will give Caleb Williams a chance to breathe a little bit and not be constantly under duress.
Cynthia, how good do you have to be to win a game when your quarterback throws 5 interceptions?
Well, does your kicker make like an ungodly amount of, I mean, just kidding. But I mean, the other thing that is really helpful in that game was just how well the defense played.
Yeah.
Detroit right now is, first best. So they're very best on third down and stopping third down conversions. That's one metric that really helps. Keeping Joe Mixon at bay, that's another metric that helps. Taking advantage of the fact that the Texans O-line is not great, especially in the middle of that O-line. Those are all ways that helps, but that's also luck.
Right.
Just being able to have enough time and the kicker making, again, he almost didn't make it, right? So it's all that one's also luck.
Was the difference the uniforms? Is that what it came down to?
Obviously.
Yeah.
I thought those helmets would be very good Christmas ornaments, like if you had a
Yes.
Christmas tree and you had like something so bright and shiny and like those could be your bulbs. Like if you're a Texans fan, it would be a pretty neat Christmas tree,
It really, yes.
Like that to put on your Christmas tree?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was a unique look for the Texans.
I'm trying to find something positive here. I'm trying.
My wife was like, wait,
What is that?
have those been the uniforms the whole time? Like, no, they're like
No.
alternates.
No.
Yeah.
She's like, didn't understand.
Yeah, it could have been the difference, I think, in the game.
Probably.
Cynthia, we appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll do it again next week, all right?
Absolutely. Have a great weekend, you guys.
Great stuff from Cynthia Freeland. NFL Network brought to you by Humul Casino. 7 restaurants, thrilling games, and a sports pub voted San Diego's best. Humul Casino is fun above all else. We'll continue our give-a-thon on the other side. This is our Warrior Foundation Freedom Station give-a-thon. We're going to catch up with Operations Specialist First Class Travis Jigsaw Wyatt on the other side. If you'd like to help send a service member home for the holidays, you can call 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615, or visit warriorfoundation.org. Any donation is greatly appreciated. 619-578-2615 or warriorfoundation.org. Help send a local ill or injured service member home for the holidays. This is Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, stop letting high interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Listen up, homeowners. Hey guys, it is Schaefer. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity without appraisals or paperwork or even waiting. Loan Pronto's all-new Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven technology to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers, get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you could be credit card debt free. Don't wait. Get your cash fast. Here's the number, 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. That's 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. It's been a great, rewarding day, and we do appreciate everyone's support of today's Give-a-thon, the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. Let's send local ill and injured service members home for the holidays. You can donate right now. Call 619-578-2615. They're standing by right now at the Freedom Station, 619-578-2615, or again at warriorfoundation.org. That's warriorfoundation.org. It is our pleasure to welcome to Jon Jim, Operations Specialist, First Class Travis Jigsaw Wyatt. First of all, Travis, thank you for your service, and thank you for joining us. And can you tell us a little bit about how the Freedom Station has played a part in your journey? And thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. So the Freedom Station has been absolutely instrumental in helping warriors that are injured or service members that can't afford it to get back home or go and see their family when they really need to, because it is a big mental health help. My first interaction with Freedom Station was in 2022 after my injury. I was injured in the Bonhoeffer Charge ship fire explosions, 12 July 2020, and I was the officer of the deck on the USS Fitzgerald, Pier 2, directly across from the lower vehicle storage when the ship caught fire, subsequently having 3 different explosions that day. The third one was heard 13 miles away, exited directly at my quarterdeck, hitting me with the blast wave and blowing me back into the bulkhead. And so I went through and dealt a lot of different treatments and therapies and everything with my vestibular system being injured. My balance control is really bad. So in 22, I found adaptive sports. And adaptive sports saved my life. And then that's how I also came across the Freedom Station. And the Freedom Station has been able to help me get a wheelchair so that I can get around with able bodies a lot better. They got my daughter. They helped fund my daughter to be able to go to Germany with me for Invictus Games last year, so I could compete with my entire family. So the help that they have provided has been absolutely helpful for us as service members that are injured.
And when you talk about the sports that you are now doing and have done, what sports have you got into through this adaptive sports program?
Well, it's pretty interesting because I never picked up a bow until April of 2022 at the Navy team trials. And my coaches said I'm a natural when it comes to shooting. So I shoot a bow and arrow from a compound bow from a wheelchair. Oh, wow. So I'm a seated archer. I'm actually, this year I became classified as a para archer, and I finished nationally 11th as a para archer in my rookie year at 50 meters. And so archery is definitely the only time that my brain is quiet when you're in your shot process. You got you're drawing the bow back and you're focused, and that's the only time where my brain is quiet. Wow. So for me, it's a passion to just shoot arrows whenever my brain is wanting to go on all cylinders. So it's very helpful. But I've done wheelchair rugby, absolutely amazing. I've done cycling from a recumbent to a hand cycle. As my mobility is fading, that's why I switched to a hand cycle, because my legs don't want to work anymore. And it just, adaptive sports, that's what they are. They just keep adapting to your changes.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you taking time for us. I'd like to know, we're joined right now by Operations Specialist, First Class Travis Jigsaw Wyatt. What does it mean to you and others at Freedom Station when members of our community donate to help send local service members home for the holidays? And again, you can do it right now by calling 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615. Or at warriorfoundation.org. That's warriorfoundation.org. Every donation matters. Can you speak on what that means to you and others when the community assists service members in our community?
Highly impactful in a positive way. It allows somebody that is struggling with the finances or other personal issues that have them where they're stuck, and your generosity helps those people get a sense of freedom to be able to see their family. A simple thing that everybody doesn't think is a challenge, but
Sure.
for service members, sometimes you can't even see your family. So Freedom Station steps up and makes that happen.
Operations Specialist First Class Travis Jigsaw White, we thank you so much for sharing your story and for your service to this country. And again, if you'd like to help send local ill and injured service members home for the holidays, it's the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. All you need to do is call 619-578-2615. They are standing by. 619-578-2615, or go online right now to warriorfoundation.org. warriorfoundation.org. Thank you for taking time for us. Happy holidays to you and your family, and we appreciate your time here today on San Diego Sports 760, sir.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank you, guys.
All right. It's been a really rewarding day. Again, we've caught up with a number of service members over the last 3 hours. We appreciate our listener support. We really do. We've been saying it. There's no better gift than this. I mean, you're helping our community. You're helping military members. You're sending people home for the holidays. This is an amazing gift. You know, we all get all these, like, what is it, material items, which are great for children. And sometimes you want it. So you want the PlayStation. We've all
something
been
as simple as just being home with your family for a home cooked meal.
We get so caught up sometimes. Like, I want the video game. I want the system. I want the jacket. I want the car. And we get it. Everyone has humanistic qualities, but also to support those that really need it this time of year. And you know us, we really don't ask a lot during the year. We have the Rady's Children's Give-a-thon, which is so impactful. And we have today's event as well with the Warrior Foundation. And again, the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon. Last time you'll hear from us. If you'd like to support, any donation is appreciated, any size. 619-578-2615. 619-578-2615, or visit warriorfoundation.org. That is warriorfoundation.org.
Yeah, we only got a couple more minutes left in today's show, and a couple more minutes for you to donate out there as well to help send our wounded vets home for the holidays. The Warrior Foundation Freedom Station here in South Park, which is where our whole entire building is at today.
Right.
It's a great community. I mean, it's kind of like one of those, not diamond in the roughs, but like it's kind of just like nestled away in South Park, where you drive by it, you might not even
wouldn't know
it's
unless
there.
you knew.
And when you actually visit the place, the facilities, which I have gone there, and how the homes are outfitted for, injured vets to make life easy for them, and give them a place to live to help with their transition out of the military, the Navy, into civilian life. It's just a great cause to get behind. And the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station I'm just so happy that as a building and as a station, we can partner with them on days like today to help during the holiday season, which is basically right now. I mean, the holiday season is upon us.
Right.
Thanksgiving is a couple weeks away, and Christmas is a month and a half away. I think 40 something days away.
Yeah, probably right around 40, 41, 42.
So now is the time. If you want to donate during the holiday season, now is the time to do that. warriorfoundation.org. And what's the number again, John?
The number to call if you'd like to make a donation is 619-578-2615. That's 619-578-2615 or warriorfoundation.org. Jon and Jim will return tomorrow.
Without
Not
Jon and
necessarily
Jim.
with Jon or Jim. But
No.
There is a Jon and Jim. Who's filling in for us? Dan Patrick and Colin Cowherd? Are they going to team up here locally? And
It's like a
drive down?
dream team.
That'd be a good group.
It is
Tune in tomorrow
Tune
at 3.
in tomorrow. Yeah,
Tune in tomorrow at 3.
Don't worry, we're not like gone. We're just
No. We should be back.
We'll be back.
Yeah, stay tuned. See if we're back Monday.
We'll be back on Monday.
Are you listening Monday?
It's J-Riff and somebody.
J-Riff and somebody.
J-Riff
3
and
to
somebody.
6.
I love somebody. He's awesome. Or
Tomorrow on San Diego
love
Sports
that.
760. Then Jon and Jim returns.
J-Riff and somebody.
And we should be back at some point on Monday. Tune in at some point on Monday. We will be with you here on Jon and Jim from outside Viejas Arena for San Diego State and Gonzaga. For everyone, for this Give-a-thon here today, for Brent and Jim, I am John. Again, it's been the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Give-a-thon on San Diego Sports 760.